Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis with Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis. I'm Randy Carricker. Great to have you with us on a Thursday morning. Happy Friday Eve, July 6, 2023. And you can watch us on the old YouTube at 101 ESPN STL. And I'm just saying it could be worse. If you had, if you were a longtime Cubs fan, for example, and you were in the playoff race, okay, down the stretch, and you were ahead of the Brewers, maybe 7-5, bottom of the ninth inning.
7-5 Cubs, bottom of the ninth. 2 down. The Brewers have the bases loaded and a 2-2 count on the hitter. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fly ball, left field. Brant Brown going back. Brant Brown drops the ball. He drops the ball. 3 runs will score, and the Brewers have beaten the Cubs.
That sounded painful.
Yeah, and actually, the TV call there was Chip Carey, and we'll get the TV call later. But good morning, guys. Is this the worst self-inflicted loss for a St. Louis team in your memory?
Oh,
that was bad.
yeah.
I think it is.
That was bad.
Yeah, just and the way that it unfolded when you go into that ninth inning and he walks the leadoff hitter, I just felt like something was coming, right?
Yeah.
And, statistically, what was it that you said?
I think it's about 35% of leadoff walks wind up scoring. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Brooke.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing the birthday hat. Get your YouTube on so that you can see Brooke and Stevie Nicks' birthday
It's a
hat.
totally normal birthday hat. Definitely not my dog's birthday hat. She had a birthday recently, and yeah, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm an old lady.
Nah,
No.
you're a young lady.
I know what old is.
Another year older. And
But a
got to
game like
celebrate.
last night will age you 10 or 12 years.
Yeah. I was going to say, what a way to celebrate. Maybe today they can get the win.
Well,
Maybe.
Here's the way it unfolded last night. The Cardinals fell behind 5-0, tied the game 5-5. Fell behind 6-5, tied the game 6-6. And it went on and on and on until we got to the ninth inning with the Cardinals trailing by a score of 9-8. Jordan Walker at the plate with a runner aboard, and he can hit.
Contreras leads. He goes the pitch. Swing drive. Hammer left. Jordan Walker hits a mammoth home run. Oh, what a trip around the bases. The Cardinals stun the Marlins down to their last strike and take a 2-run lead on a bomb over the bullpen.
Unfortunately, the Marlins were not completely stunned.
Now his 1-2 pitch. Runners take off. Little tapper in front of the mound. The runners will advance. Double clutch, and he threw it away. Down the line. 1 run scores. Gurriel around third. He's going to score, and the Marlins walk off. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it kind of was. But it could have been a playoff game. Could have been worse.
I don't.
It could have been more.
Here's the thing. It's not. It's probably not going to be a playoff game this year.
No, but here, CD.
Okay.
2002, Giants, Niners, end of game, 39-38, San Francisco. The Giants.
I remember that one.
Trey Junkin snapping it. Bad snap. Allen couldn't get it down, and now he fires.
Pass interference. They're going to get pass interference on that play.
Here's one man down the field on the offense, number 65. By rule. The game is over.
Ron Winter, the referee. So you're down 39-38, kicking the game-winning chip shot field goal. A bad snap by a 19-year veteran long snapper eliminates you from the playoffs. It could be worse.
I mean, if misery loves company, sure. This is bad.
Under 30 seconds left of the game. Pierzynski can just fall on the football, and there is nothing the Eagles can do. And Pierzynski fumbles the football. It's picked up by Herrera. 15, 10, 5, touchdown Eagles. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
He should have just taken a kney.
Well, that's where the victory formation started, was the miracle at the Meadowlands. So I'm just saying, guys, it could be worse.
I don't know. I said yesterday that I feel like we've passed our allotment on how many rock bottoms you can hit. Well, guess what, guys? We need to bring a shovel because we can dig a little bit deeper.
Keep going.
Okay, pick your poison. Would you rather have a blowout loss, or would you rather lose a one-run game? But I didn't tell you how that one-run game unfolded at the very end.
If I was going to lose like I lost yesterday, I'd gladly take 15-2.
Okay.
6 to 7 days a week. Oh, no.
You want that, Randy? You want how that unfolded at the end?
I'm all about content, Brooke, at this stage of my life. I laughed last night. I literally...
I chuckled as well. Like, oh, whoa. No.
I had a Jim Valvano level day in the 9th inning. I thought I laughed
That
and I
cancer.
cried. Are you kidding? Oh, my God.
Randy! No!
It's definitely going to go with the other part. Thought, laughed, and cried all in one inning, but hey,
Have a great day if
Oh
you
my
do that.
it was an okay day.
That was all in the 9th inning.
All in the 9th inning, because I'm
Yeah.
still thinking about how did the
Jordan
starting
Walker
pitching
got
end
a
up the way it is
hold of
today?
it.
Oh, man, that was beautiful.
That was
That was beautiful.
at that, I
Wilson
cried.
Contreras hustling down the first baseline, sliding in, diving in to get on first. There were some very good things. Nolan Arenado had a hell of a day. Got robbed
3 doubles.
of another
Almost
one.
a fourth.
Almost a fourth. The future is bright.
Well, and you know what?
Nobody wants to hear that, CD.
Don't worry about it.
No.
This year,
You're 100% right, because think of how bad it could have been last night if they hadn't taught Jordan Walker how to hit.
there you go. Teaching him his launch angle.
Yep.
And finally, it came to fruition. He's clearly didn't know how to hit the ball.
Has anybody else but me determined that maybe Matthew Liberatore is not going to ever give us equal value for Randy Arozerena?
I think that trade we can
looking
finally
great.
settle the debate. And what is that?
Yeah.
That we didn't win that one.
There's a thing when guys have talent. It confidence is what separates them from success or not success, from greatness or not greatness, from Hall of Fame players to just good career players that have great careers. He has a lot of talent. He doesn't have the confidence yet, and doesn't. And I know he's pitching on short rest. You can't go out there and blow up like that and give a third of an inning and think that that's going to be
Only record one out.
bad.
That's
You're
bad.
saying that's bad?
That's not great. It's just not great.
And then what about Dakota Hudson right after it? So that was like a whole starting rotation audition.
It's not great.
And if you weren't watching and you didn't look, Liberatore, third of an inning, 4 earned runs on 5 hits. He walked 1, didn't strike out anybody. And then Hudson comes in, goes 2 2/3. He allows 2 runs, walks 3. And he's always walked guys. I don't know how they think they're gonna finally teach him how to not walk guys. But anyway, he allows a couple of runs, and then Steven Matz goes 2 1/3, and he allows a couple of runs. And those are the 3 guys that you're looking at to fill in for Adam Wainwright, who obviously got hammered 3 times in a row. So the starting pitching leaves a little bit to be desired.
Hey, you're talking about being happy, CD. Full circle moment. Steven Matz working his way back into the starting rotation. Right?
Okay.
We like Steven Matz.
Aren't you
Good
so
guy.
happy about
All
that?
right.
Did you guys know that Steven...
We did
well,
pay
you
him
guys-
a lot of money for that.
Yeah, and you guys know Steven Matz is a St. Louis guy. He loves St. Louis, so
He does.
we root for him. He's one of our guys.
He's a very nice. He's a very nice guy. Very good guy.
Swell human being. Splendid.
Very, very, very nice. This is just the situation they're in right now.
Yeah, they're in. Their situation is that they're pretty bad. And Brooke, one of the first things you asked when you came in was, can Ollie survive this? I don't know how you do, because Ollie is the manager, and you can't fire 26 players. And Bernie Miklasz tweeted, just go to Twitter and check out Bernie's timeline last night. Bill DeWitt has to do something. He has to. And whether or not that's Ollie or Mo or Gersh or everybody, something has to be done to pacify these fans. You can't expect fans to keep coming to the ballpark and spending money on your real estate project, which is Ballpark Village, when you have a situation like this. It's just not realistic to think that.
No, and it's not fair whatsoever, because I'm going to bring this up, even though it was controversial. You did say that fans are spoiled and entitled
they are.
because they've been used to success and that ability to be able to make the playoffs. And you're not having that happen here recently. We're seeing the deficiencies. We've seen where things are not coming together. And yes, there's a lot of great parts to this team. when you talk about Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, but it is not coming together this season, and that's on everybody. And sadly, that's just the way it goes when it comes to coach firings, manager firings, is that they will start to look at what they should do leadership-wise, because if you're not able to corral the clubhouse, then that's when they start looking to, well, maybe we should move on.
Bill Parcells famously said, if you want me to cook the meal, you got to let me buy the groceries. If I'm going to be out here coaching these guys, I need guys that are going to be able to perform. And you can be mad as you want to at Ali. I mean, you can be frustrated. I think it's evident at this point that it's the players on the field that are not taking care of their business. I mean, you got a pitcher that airmails a ball to first base. You got guys not taking care of their business. Starting pitchers only giving you a third of an inning. If I don't have the people to do the job properly, how the hell is it my fault?
Well, I'm thinking he's a scapegoat. At the very least, if you are the front office, you have to blame somebody for this disaster. And he
find a mirror, look in it, and point at him.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying that the guy with multi-billions of dollars is not going to fire himself.
Well, clearly, that's not going to happen.
So you got to find a scapegoat, and I don't think the scapegoat is going to be Mo at this stage, maybe later, but I don't think it is. I think there really is probably for them only one target. Who are you guys going to root for in the home run derby in the first round next week? Randy Arozerena or Adolis Garcia?
Oh, my God.
They're on the Cardinals. No,
as long as a former Cardinal wins, I'm happy, Randy. I'm happy.
Why are you happy about that?
Yeah. The text line will be hilarious.
No.
You like chaos, don't you?
I enjoy it very much.
Can I give you one more here, by the way? One more, because I worked on it. That's the only reason. I just put time into it, so that's why I want to air this. Here we go. 1986 Stanley Cup Western Conference Finals, Game 7, final minute.
In the second period, on Steve Bozak. Oh, they score! Oh, Steve Smith, in attempting to get it out of his own zone, put it in the net. At the side of the net, he was trying to pass it out, and it hit Rapture, I believe, and went in.
Well, everybody's in a state of shock right now, and the Calgary bench, they couldn't believe it. Now, there's the puck stopped by Grant Fuhrer. Watch Smith. It comes out right in front of his net and tries to pass it through the middle. It hit Grant Fuhrer and goes in.
Steve Smith, Edmonton Oilers' own goal. Oilers lose, and the Flames advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I was racking my brain last night trying to think of the worst self-inflicted losses in history. One that actually worked for the opposition. It worked against the opposition. And CD, you'll remember this one, 2011 Week 10, Rams at Cleveland. And a long snapper by the name of Brian Pompriand with less than 2 minutes left with a bad snap. The Browns were down 2, right? And the Rams wind up winning the game. And if they had lost that game, they would have had the opportunity to draft Andrew Luck and have him be their quarterback in Los Angeles.
Oh. In Los Angeles. I'm glad
they weren't staying here.
Glad you put that on there.
Yeah, they weren't staying
Anytime you know the long snapper's name, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not. So Paul Briand. That's a Cleveland Brown.
Unless you're my guy, Greg Warren. We called him Warren G. He was our long snapper.
I think we might have a little bit of material for our next segment. It's called Sick of It. And you can text in right now to the text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. We have Sick of It coming up. And, of course, you can watch us on 101 ESPN STL on your YouTube channel. We want to see you, and we want you to see us next on 101 ESPN. little fun fact for you. And I know there are a lot of intense Cardinal fans out there. Love you. Love you, the fact that you're tuned in. Love the fact that you're an intense sports fan. I know there's some rabid Steelers fans out there. Steelers fans are all over the country. They've got their Steelers gear. This is from 2005, so you may not remember this, but James Henry Smith was a Steelers fan in life, and death couldn't keep him from his favorite spot in a recliner in front of a TV showing the Steelers. The 55-year-old Smith died of prostate cancer in 2005 during the season in 2005. And because his death wasn't expected, his family was able to plan for an unusual viewing of him in his Steelers recliner.
I remember saying that.
And then he was buried that way.
Buried that way.
I remember saying that. That was a big deal because they won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Well, they had the wake. He was there in a chair.
Okay, and then did they?
You probably can Google it.
His body was on the recliner, his feet crossed, and a remote in his hand. He wore black and gold silk pajamas, slippers, and a robe.
Yeah.
And a pack of cigarettes and a beer were at his side while HD TV played a continuous loop of Steelers highlights.
I remember seeing that.
That's a little disturbing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to
Fandom is a real thing.
So
that's past fandom.
Sick of it. I am sick of people not understanding the proper emotion that should be invested in sports. And clearly, James Henry Smith and his family understood the proper emotion to be utilized when following a sports team.
I'm sick of all of these negative Nancy's complaining about this Cardinals team.
Usually Nancy's are positive people, by the way.
They are.
I've generally met really, really positive and nice and friendly Nancy's. Nellies are kind of negative.
Nancy's.
Except for our Nelly. That's N-E-L-L-I-E, like Nellie Fox, not N-E-L-L-Y. He's positive, too.
He is very positive.
I found the photo.
There you go. See?
Isn't that awesome?
Hey, living his best life.
Yeah.
All about.
Even in death. That's that's something. Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful, touching moment.
We're just sick of I'm just sick of people complaining about this Cardinals team. They're trying, all right? You're not going to talk about my Cardinals. I love these guys. Just do everything they can. They're working hard. They're giving their best effort. He didn't mean to throw it into right field. You guys get off their backs. You may don't get off of the internet. You guys are just...
You're sick of it,
I'm sick of it. Give my guys a break.
Yeah.
Please.
They're trying, right?
Thank you. I'm a fan, Randy. We are trying. You didn't see me out there in left field yesterday?
That's where he was throwing. No, he was throwing the ball to you in right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to go catch it.
So should we be making, not to bury you too soon, but should we go ahead and start making the funeral arrangements where we have you in the recliner?
Definitely.
Or what else? What would be better?
Cardinals gear.
Okay.
Cardinals hat for sure. And
nice. Yeah. That makes sense.
Just sit me down in spring training for a couple of games.
And just, I don't know a body plus spring training and heat and humidity. I don't know if that's the best combination, but sure, it's your wish. It's your final wish.
That's how I want to go.
You know what I'm sick of, guys? And I'm going to kind of pivot somewhere else because this happened to me yesterday. It was just during the day. I wanted to go by the mall and get myself a little birthday gift. And as soon as I pulled into the parking lot, this was St. Louis Galleria. As soon as I pulled into the parking lot, I was like, why are there so many windows rolled down? And then I look at the ground. I was like, oh. They're not rolled down. They're broken into. And there was so many cars broken into yesterday. That's what I am sick of. The St. Louis Galleria Mall.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And it was during the day. I've been there several times. And look, I know that some people say, don't go over there. I haven't had many problems. I try to park where there's a lot of people coming in and out. And I'm sick and tired of the car break-ins. I'm so tired of it.
I am too.
And I mean, maybe they just wanted to cool them off on this hot day. That's what the thieves were doing.
Maybe.
Is that what it was?
I've tried to think of ways to booby trap a car that they break into.
Oh my
Do you remember the
Home
show?
Alone it?
Yeah.
What's the show where they used to have the car that they would let people steal and then catch them?
Yes.
You remember that?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was a great show.
Yeah. And they still do that every once in a while.
Booby trap the car, and as soon as they got in to steal the car, the doors would lock and they were unable to get out. And they were,
yeah. See, that's what we need.
Yeah.
The thing is that I don't get, and maybe this is just me, I don't keep anything important in my car, ever. And that was even before I moved to St. Louis. That's just how I go about life. What are they looking for?
Guns,
And what are they able to
guns.
get?
They're always looking for guns.
Who leaves their gun in their car?
A lot of people do, apparently.
A lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, did you wind up going into the mall, or did you just stay
I
away?
did.
Okay.
I did anyways.
They did a U-turn this already, right?
Well, they did. So there was already. So when I got there, there was already cops coming in, and so I was like, I could go in and still get myself a little birthday gift. This is all handled.
Well done. Well done. Matthew, do you have one, or do we have the text line?
I got the text
Are you
line.
sick of me yet?
Of course not.
Okay, good.
I'm sick of you. Kidding me? I've been doing great on the fight.
That hair, Rocc, is looking fabulous.
Glorious.
You got up this morning and took care of business, didn't you,
It's
pal?
Amsinger-esque.
I gotta make sure I run the comb through it
I ain't
now.
mad at you.
Got the flow going.
Little leave-in conditioner,
right,
baby.
I see.
So I hope you don't get traded to the Yankees.
I would say that off.
Get traded to the Yankees.
I would say no. I would not cut my hair. There ain't no darn way. Freedom, baby, in New York of all places, ain't no way. I'm sick of the lack of fundamentals. I see PFP in the future for Hicks. Maybe the Cardinals should have fielding and base running practice over the All-Star break.
I was telling Brooke this earlier, and this is, I hate to say that it's not Jordan Hicks' fault, because on some level it is. But Jordan Hicks never played A ball, never played double A ball, and was brought up because he throws 100 miles an hour. And I actually have asked, I've talked to Ollie, and I talked to Mike Schultz about this too, about the concept, the thought process when he was walking a ton of guys of, pulling back a little bit and throwing 99 with command rather than throwing 102 out of the zone. And both of them told me, both Schultz and Ollie said, the guy got here because he throws 100 miles an hour. And that thought process has remained in his head. I don't believe that when you have that much success that early because of one thing that got you here, that you feel like you need to work on an awful lot else. And I just think that from a fundamental standpoint, many of these players are lacking because they've been rushed through the system.
Yeah, I can see that, especially you've had players just really skyrocket through the system now more than ever. And when you're that talented as Jordan Hicks, where you're able to literally throw over 100 consistently, I can see that because that's what he's known for, being a flamethrower. And in that situation, he's been so good going into that. That was the right move to put him in there. It's hard to predict that that's how it's going to unfold. He had 4 saves going in, and he's been nails, and that's just how it played out. It's just in that situation where it unfolded in that way, it looks so bad. The double pump and then just airmailing it.
Well, the leadoff walk.
Yeah,
I don't. So
four balls too.
That to me didn't
straight balls.
I mean, that didn't feel like that. That's just a bad play. That's one of those plays where you play 162 games, you have to clear that from your memory and go back out and play the next game. It was just a bad play. It was like an untimely interception by a quarterback when he had the receiver wide open. Those things happen, and you just hope that they don't continue to happen over and over again. It's just unfortunate because this team is creating ways to lose games. They are finding ways day in and day out to lose a game.
I don't know how he did it.
Guys are pressing.
But Mike Schultz had some mystical, magical power.
I texted
why
you
didn't
guys.
it happen last year?
Yeah, well, because it took a little bit.
Do curses take time?
Game 163?
I can just see. I texted in the group chat. Oh, that's a good point. I texted in the group chat last night. I was like, okay, where's the voodoo doll that Mike Schultz made? Because it's got to be somewhere.
There's got to be one. Let's get one more here.
Sick of people calling it Ali Marmol's lineup. It's clearly Mo's geeks who are making it.
Well, Ali he's party to this crime. And I'm not going to call it a conspiracy, and I don't blame Ollie for taking the job because there's only 30 of them. There's only 30 of these jobs. But he is part of the process of those 2:00 meetings. And so you can't absolve anybody of this, unfortunately.
I'm sick of people not believing in this team. When they go 76-0 from this point on, don't you dare climb back on the bandwagon.
Okay, they're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to be at 50-0 for me to buy that.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to win 40 games in a row, 40 to 50 games in a row for me to jump back on this band. Man, no, I'm.
If they went on a 12-game win streak, you'd be right back in.
I wouldn't, because they'll still be how many games back in the division?
Okay, here's the deal.
3 games under 500 at least, I think.
They go on a 40-game win streak. You are getting buried in Cardinals gear.
Oh, no question. Because we're going to win the World Series that year. Yeah, this year. Yeah. But
and you'll fist pump celebrating, and that's how you'll be frozen in time.
There you go.
You're getting hot at the wrong time, though, Carrie.
Thanks for joining us on the YouTube machine. We've got comments about bait cars. So is what rock bottom looks like finally? No, I don't know that we've necessarily got.
No, it could get worse.
Are we at rock bottom? Was yesterday rock bottom? Because
It's gotta
it's
be.
been every time we say that there is a new low.
Yep.
That's why I said you got to bring the
Gives you
shovel.
A third of an inning.
Yeah.
You claw your way back into the game. Now you score 5 runs, it's 5-5, and then you give up another run, so now it's 6-5, and you climb your way back. Then you get the home run from the spectacular rookie Jordan Walker, and that's we're in
gonna win.
business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then it's over.
Yeah, no.
And then it was very
It's over.
Cardinals this season, the way it just ended.
By the way, greetings. This is on our chat room on YouTube at 101 ESPN STL. Greetings from Phoenix, Arizona. I am your super fan. That's from Nancy. So thank you.
nice.
So if,
She's not a negative Nancy.
she's obviously a positive
Thank you,
Nancy.
Nancy.
There we go.
So
Thank you.
if you are listening or watching from outside the St. Louis metro area, would like to know where you're doing so from, and we wish you a good morning on Brooke Grimsley's birthday on this
It is.
July 6th of 2023.
My claim to fame is I'm born the day after Shohei Ohtani.
Okay.
Oh,
so
that's-
we gotta get Shohei here.
Yep.
That'll solve some
Exactly.
Work on that.
issues.
We solve a lot of issues.
Yeah. Do you ever have blister problems on your fingers? Is this something indigenous to people that are born like within days of each other?
I can't say that I have. Maybe. Well, yeah, a little bit with tennis.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg Amsinger is going to join us next and talk about the Cardinals. I think he might have a comment or two. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. People need therapy. We all need therapy. Greg is next on 101 ESPN. I love great St. Louis companies, and Chesterfield Fence and Deck is one of those. They've been here in town in business, family owned for 55 years. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck does an amazing job. They did an amazing job on my fence. And if you're in the market for a wood or a cedar fence, maybe a wood or a vinyl fence, they have beautiful cedar fences, or maybe a cedar or vinyl Vecca deck, you need to get in touch with Chesterfield Fence and Deck at 800-300-4054 or on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and whatever you're in the market for, whether it is a fence or a deck, maybe a sunroom or a screen room or a pergola, they'll take care of you. They'll do great work. They'll have one of their outstanding friendly employees come out to your house and provide you a free, no-obligation project design, and they'll allow you to ask questions. They'll show you pictures of jobs they've done so you get some ideas, and you'll love the work that they do at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. It truly is amazing, and the quality is absolutely magnificent. Mention that you heard about it from me and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck at chesterfieldfence.com. Call 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. In a back-and-forth game against the Marlins, as the Cardinals try to win a game in this 4-game series, they come up just short as they fall apart in the 9th inning. Jordan Hicks skies a throw to first base, and the Marlins walk off with a 10-9 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals will look to avoid a sweep in the 4-game series. Tonight, it's a 5:40 first pitch from Miami between the Cardinals and the Marlins. It's going to be Jack Flaherty facing off against Yuri Perez for the Marlins. Flaherty on the season 5-5 with a 4.60 ERA. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
And it's probably not long.
Brooke, Carrie, Randy, I will never have Greg Amsinger quality hair. I'm working on it because we are on YouTube now every morning on at 101 ESPN STL. The great Greg Amsinger, native of St. Louis, and of course a product of the Lindenwood University, joins us now here on 101 ESPN. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
How are those sideburns growing in, Randy? Are they coming in nice and
Greg,
thick and full?
I have very strong difficulties with facial hair. I don't know why, but I just have great difficulty with facial hair, big boy.
Oh, did you never give it a run?
I gave it a run, but
I'm talking like 16 years old.
That's exactly what I am. I'm like, my facial hair is like a 60. It was peach fuzz. It was, and I gave it like 10 days.
Well, look, there are places you can go. Most people think that it's just for the hair on top of your head, but I think they can do some work on the hair on the side of your face, Randy. I think sideburns with your facial structure, that strong jawline, I'm telling you, that YouTube channel, your numbers are going to go up. Just a couple sideburns away.
Okay, well, we'll work on it. So, have you ever seen anything like this Cardinal team? Holy smokes.
No, we were texting yesterday, and Dal Maxville didn't get a chance to spend money. And when he took over as GM, the team was going to be for sale, and they didn't want him spending any money on the product. And you saw that on the field, like immediately. It was like Ozzie Smith and a bunch of young guys. So the 90s were way lean. He got credit for the 80s, but those really weren't his teams. Yadi Herzog left, and it really fell apart. This is different. This is a payroll that is quite large for the market of St. Louis. And for them to be this bad, to not be able to get people out from a pitching perspective, if we just focus in on that by itself, because I think the young talent is there. I think the lineup can score runs. You've got future Hall of Famers in the lineup, which I think is always a very important part of the culture of Cardinal baseball. To me, it's mind-boggling to see a franchise that is this accustomed to winning to be this overnight thin in pitching. I mean, it is dramatically thin in starting pitching and bullpen. And to me, it's as if that snuck up on us. It's like, whoa, where'd this come from? It is an alarming state for the Cardinals to be in, to not get people out, to score 8 runs and lose baseball games. That is something Cardinal fans have never seen before. They've never seen a team score over 6 runs a game and be 15 to 16 games under 500. This is a new era of Cardinal baseball.
And not a good one. So, Greg, where do you feel like the blame lies? And this is not about pointing fingers, but just kind of evaluating what we've seen this season. Is it on the coaching staff? Is it on the front office? Where do you feel like you're looking to first?
Well, you got to go to the front office because the coaching staff is completely connected to the front office. They're doing everything the front office wants them to do. And that is not an exaggeration. John Mozeliak was fed up with mouthy managers. He dealt with it for a very long time. What more can he do to prove that he is a future Hall of Fame baseball executive? So towards the end of his run of success, what he wanted was a coaching staff that would literally not talk back and do everything he's asking them to do. And I can't blame the coaching staff at all. I refuse to blame the coaching staff. I'm going to say it again. It's not because I'm friends with Ali Marmol. It's because Ali Marmol has a job to do. And that's everything John Mozeliak and the front office wants him to do. And he's done it. He's done it. So this is a coaching staff that is in lockstep with the front office. So here you have full accountability, guys. This is the beauty of old school baseball management, where you disagree with the manager. Hey, what the hell are you doing hitting running in the 8th inning? You want the checks and balances between the front office and the manager in the dugout, who's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on with the team. But you don't have checks and balances right now. They're managing from a spreadsheet that everyone in unison is in agreement that this is the best battle plan to win tonight's game. I like the fact that everyone's on the same page. But unfortunately, that page has incorrect information every single night. So the fact that there's no push and pull, there's no back and forth, there's no collaboration, to me, I think this is a bit of a mess right now. And he may need to do something outside the box. When I say he, John Mozeliak, get a maverick manager who might disagree with him, who might have outside opinions. Those outside opinions could be refreshing to a team that's struggling right now.
But, Greg, you just don't find maverick managers growing on trees. You can't just go out and say, oh, there's a maverick manager that's unemployed that we can where would you get something like that?
Well, you've been singing the praises of Joe Madden for quite a long time. And to me, Joe Madden, to hire Joe Madden after everything he said about analytics would be such a wave the white flag moment for a front office. I just can't see this front office doing it. I can see other front offices doing it, but I truly think they're going to look at this year as a mulligan. Hey, Cardinal faithful, how many years of winning baseball have we provided you? A lot, right? You can't. Some people don't even remember a losing season in St. Louis because they're 17, 18 years old. Okay, so give us one mulligan season. We're not going to trade away Paul Goldschmidt. We're not going to overreact to this. We're going to invest in a very deep free agent starting pitching market in the offseason, and we're going to give it another go in 2024. Don't panic. We got this. This was a bad year. Everything that went wrong. Don't worry about it. We'll go get him next year. I think that's going to be the battle plan.
Greg, with the way that this season is going and has gone, do you think that someone could eventually be the fall guy for, what has happened so far?
No. I don't see that happening. I think Mr. DeWitt really believes in John Mozeliak. I believe in John Mozeliak. I truly believe John Mozeliak is a baseball genius. And I'm going to have a lot of people rolling their eyes, throwing stuff at their steering wheel right now. I don't care. John Mozeliak's done enough to me to prove that he knows what he's doing. When I get on an airplane, I don't ask for the credentials of the pilot. Because I'm assuming he's landed a few planes. I'm assuming he knows more about flying the plane than I do, okay? John Mozeliak knows more about constructing a roster that can compete and win a division more than I do. So I don't think anyone's going to be the fall guy here. I think he's going to sell Mr. DeWitt on the fact that this was a bad year. We had bad luck on our side. Believe in the process. The same group in the front office, the same group in the dugout. We're going to go get it in 2024. We're going to win this division, and we're going to be in the playoffs. I really think that's going to be the battle plan, and there won't be a fall guy.
So would this year just be a misstep in the preparation and the planning for, the pitching staff? Because that's really where we are struggling at right now.
I look at this as like a really long AAU basketball tryout. Who are they going to trade? Who are they going to trade at the end of the year to really reshape their bullpen and their rotation? They're going to spend money in free agency, and they're going to decide which of these position players they have to move. What have we seen is the recipe for success? Look at the Atlanta Braves. It's the same lineup. They've got 4 guys that are on pace to play 162 games. They have 4 position players that are on pace to do that. There are teams that have continuity up and down. The Texas Rangers, you can look at their lineup on Tuesday. It's the same lineup on Thursday and the same lineup on Sunday. So continuity is a big deal. It's working in Major League Baseball. It worked for 100 years. People decided that the Oakland A's and Moneyball could reshape everything, so we platooned everybody, right? That's not the answer. This is the answer. Find stars at every position and commit to them. The Cardinals have not committed to their outfield set yet. They've committed to third base and first base, but they haven't even committed to poor Tommy Edman. He didn't know what position he's going to play. The Cardinals need to commit to players this offseason. You're our guys. Learn this position. This is where you're playing every day. You are a role player off the bench. You're not a starter. These are the things the Cardinals need to commit to. And I think you're going to see the second half of the season, we're going to try to find who's going to be the everyday guys on the 2024 St. Louis Cardinals.
Hey, Greg, one last thing. Aside from the fact that there were only 15,000 people in the stands, and the Cardinals are 16 games under 500, and what happened in the bottom of the ninth, the Jordan Walker home run was the Albert Pujols home run from 2005.
I don't know if I go that far. It was a nice moment. I jumped up and down in my living room, but it wasn't quite the same reaction that I had in 2005. Not quite the same. But when you're grasping at straws, I understand why you jumped over the top. I understand. You're looking for something to turn the season around. It was a great moment. I think Jordan Walker's he's winning the AAU tryout. When we all agree,
yeah,
he's winning the tryout. So he's becoming an everyday guy. And that's a good sign for the St. Louis Cardinals. Just keep building the core. These are not the answers that people listening right now want to hear. What they want to hear is fire Marmol, get rid of the entire coaching staff. Mozeliak's got to go. All the crazy talk that's on social media right now, simmer down. There's a reason why the Cardinal baseball is actually so successful. It's boring because it doesn't overreact. It's not emotional. Cardinal baseball isn't emotional. So take the emotion out of this. Steady Eddie. Cardinal baseball's the tortoise. Let the Marlins be the hare. Let them have their moment right now. They'll be 30 games under 500 a year and a half from now. Don't worry about it. The Cardinals are going to get back on track. Are they going to be in the playoffs this year? Probably not, but just trust the process. And I know no one wants to hear that right now. That is not what fans in St. Louis think is smart baseball analysis.
Greg, speaking of emotions, I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on Adam Wainwright, and do you think that he will return as a starting pitcher this season?
Well, a week ago, what did I tell you guys on your show? I said you need to make up an injury and give him an extended All-Star break. And now he's got an injury, and he's going to get an extended All-Star break. So it ended up happening. I would be surprised if Adam Wainwright pitched meaningful baseball for the Cardinals down the stretch. for the rest of the year. Will he get a chance to start in September when it's clearly all done and the Cardinals are eliminated? Yeah, I think you'll see him get a chance to do that. But this did not end the way I think he wanted it to end. He was very effective last year. He could trick people. He doesn't have anything in his holster right now, and it's clearly evident. Guys are running to the bat rack to face him, and this is not the way people in St. Louis wanted to see this run come to an end. But look, he surprised us before, and I wouldn't be shocked if he had one more gem left in him. But it's a sad way to see what I think a Hall of Fame career come to an end.
Greg, who you got between Arozerena and Garcia next week in the first round of the Home Run Derby?
I think Randy Arozerena just loves the moment. He loves the spotlight more than Adolis Garcia. But what a painful moment in St. Louis to watch these two former Cardinal farmhands square off against each other. Just one cool nugget, okay? I leave tomorrow morning for Seattle. When you're watching the Home Run Derby, turn it up, and you'll hear it on ESPN, but listen in the background. My annoying voice will be blaring. I'm the in-stadium MC to the Home Run Derby.
Nice.
You will hear my annoying voice throughout. I'll be on the field. It's really like I always wanted to be like a pastor because I wanted people to stand up when I wanted them to stand up and sit down. So when I yell at people, I've done this for years before. When I yell at them, stand up, and 50,000 people stand up, it's quite empowering. So I look forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Can't wait. And by the way, the draft on Sunday, correct, on MLB Network?
Yes. 6.5 hour live show. Make sure you tune in. It'll also be on ESPN, but we do it at a completely different level on MLB Network. We have all the great experts. We're going to have all the kids live on the air. It's going to be a huge show. At Cardinals drafting number 21 in the first round, there'll be some incredible talent available for them to pick from. This, to me, guys, I'm not overselling this. This is the deepest, best draft class in the MLB Network era since 2009. It's not top heavy, the best draft class. You could have Hall of Famers 1 through 38. I've been studying this. There are 38 kids in this draft. Any other normal year could go number 1. That's how great this class is. So the Cardinals are going to get someone immensely talented at number 21.
Amazing. Hey, have a great trip. Be safe, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks, Greg.
All right, guys. Take care.
That's the man. That's Greg Amsinger here on 101 ESPN. And you can see him every night on MLB Tonight on MLB Network. Coming up, take it or leave it. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Take it or leave it coming your way on 101 ESPN. It's time for TIOLI here on 101 ESPN. The opening drive, you can see us on YouTube at 101 ESPN STL. Brooke Grimsley, the birthday girl, Carrie Davis, Randy Carricker, Matthew Rocchio. We need to see your texts. Guys, the last time we will see the Cubs in 2023 is at the end of this month. The last day of the month on the 30th of July is the last time that we will see the Cubs in St. Louis for this season. Take it or leave it, as bad as things are for the Cardinals, they're worse for MLB that we won't get to see Chicago for the last 2 months of the year.
Take it.
It's terrible. That's just ridiculous.
It's a little strange.
It is. I guess there is some positive with the more balanced schedule, but I don't know.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
You gotta miss out on your rival. You don't get to play him as much. You don't get to play him towards the well, not like it matters this year, but you don't get to play him down the stretch.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate for baseball fans, really, in those cities.
I miss when the Pirates. Well, not that they've been great recently either, but I miss when the Pirates were just kind of like an easy win.
Mark.
Yeah. I like that rivalry.
They had the bases loaded 2 times yesterday with no outs and didn't get a single run.
Pirates?
Yes.
That's impressive.
That's impressive.
How do you do that?
The NL Central is
always
fun.
got to try.
How do you not like trip and fall into a sacrifice?
There's a launch angle, bro. What are you talking about? Why would they sacrifice? You know what the hell are you sacrificing? We only got 27 of them. What the hell are you talking about? What, are we going to sacrifice one of them for a run? Foolish. Crazy. So, you know, Anthony and I got to do our podcast yesterday. Finally, it's been a long time.
Gridiron Guys.
Gridiron Guys. You want to check us out on the YouTube, on the interwebs. You can check us out. And Anthony believes that the New York Jets are not going to be as good with Aaron Rodgers. Take it or leave it.
Ooh.
The New York Jets are going to be in the AFC Championship game.
Okay, first of all, Anthony has a tremendous amount of football knowledge and acumen. But I'm going to leave that they'll be in the AFC Championship game. I do think they'll be a playoff team, though.
I think it's AFC Championship or bust for those guys. They were a quarterback away. Mm-hmm. And they are in a very tough division, minus the New England Patriots without Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. That coach hasn't been. He's
not great without Brady.
He's just got kind of a guy. But I do think that that's a tough division. But I do think the New York Jets, with Aaron Rodgers under center, are going to be very, very good and tough to beat.
If the running back is healthy, Breece Hall, that changes things.
Yes.
They've got a lot of good things going for them. They really do.
I'll take it, CD. I see what you're putting down.
Yeah. But the AFC is such a tough conference.
And that's why I said
the problem.
Because you've got Kansas City and Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's the problem there. I mean, you just added another Hall of Fame quarterback in this. I mean, the NFC, I might be able to go play quarterback over there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've got to hand the ball off 40 times.
Take it or leave it, guys.
Direct shot at Brock Purdy uncalled for.
Hey, he got engaged the other day or
Purdy
something
did?
like that. Yeah.
Good job, Brock.
Did Garoppolo get engaged yet?
I don't think
Is he dating
I don't think
somebody?
that's his thing.
No, he dates people. Yeah.
He's doing his thing.
Oh, I think we all remember one specific date. Anyways.
Do you think Brock's girl is pretty?
I'm sure she is.
She's purdy.
She purdy?
There you go.
Is she a purdy girl?
Carrie, you're the best to just lay up a joke like that. You always finish.
There you go.
Chris Duncan used to say, that's a quarterback with confidence.
There you go.
Take it or leave it. I'm going to get my birthday wish today, and the Cardinals will get a win. That's just my simple birthday wish.
Take that. Yes.
Got Flaherty on the mound with a lot to prove because he wants to leave St. Louis probably.
Where does Miami play at next? Is this a getaway game for them?
Yeah, it is.
They try to get away. Listen. I've been watching a lot of baseball my entire life, and that ranks up there with it was self-inflicted wounds. That's got to be top tier.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable.
Just from start to finish. I don't know, Brooke. I think you may not have a great birthday wish.
No.
If that's it. Again, the texter said they were going to go 76-0, and yeah.
Yuri Perez 5-2
win.
with a 2.47 going, but the Cardinals score on everybody. The thing is this good or bad Jack Flaherty? You know, we don't see a mediocre Jack Flaherty very often. It's either
good.
really good or really bad.
Well, and also bullpen is a little worn down, so it is going to be on Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Take it or leave it. Watching every minute from beginning to end of the Tour de France would be more entertaining than watching a 2023 Cardinals game.
Leave it. Last night was eminently entertaining. It was
didn't
great
go
TV.
the way that you wanted.
No. But it was really interesting.
If you want to phrase it in that way, yes, it was interesting.
The first game of the series was very interesting, right? Second game of the series, you got to see Burleson pitch again, right? So
That's I don't know that that's what we're
kind of
looking
interesting.
for.
But the tour, and I'm a bicyclist. But the tour is not good TV. All due respect, it's just not.
Except for when somebody gets mowed down by a biker.
Well, that's fun.
That's great TV.
Yeah, or when the bike gets
Didn't that happen a few years ago where a fan got ran over?
No, a family came out with a sign.
We don't want people to get hit.
I'm just saying, it's great TV.
By bicycles. We used to have this thing though when I was in college. We sat on this spot right outside the quad, or we called it the row, and it was right on the bike path. And if people would walk across the bike path and not pay attention, and we said they got schwinned. He just got schwinned.
Take it or leave it. The St. Louis fans expecting our sports teams to make the playoffs every year causes those teams to make knee-jerk reactions to try and maintain a certain level no matter what, like signing Krug after Petro and Contreras after Molina.
Leave it.
I'm going to leave that. That was not a thing that they just jumped and slipped into with Wilson Contreras. We talked about it yesterday, how much they had thought about it, and they were very clear even last year while Yadi was still there that they were going to pursue a catcher during free agency, and they did that. This was not something that they slipped and fell into. And remember, at the time, Wilson Contreras was considered a good signing.
Right. Yeah.
And I still think he is a good signing. I don't think it's a bad signing.
I know, but it's just, I think some people have forgotten that he was a sought-after catcher.
It's just the guys have to do their homework. Everybody has to buy in and do their job.
And I think that we need to point out that the front offices don't care what we think. People on Twitter last night were upset with me for not holding John Mozeliak accountable. Well, how do I tell John Mozeliak, John, I'm going to fire you if you don't do better? Is that how people think that I have that much power that I can?
Well, you
I
get
can
a
hold
check
him
from the Cardinals, Randy. So of course,
yeah.
You had your Cardinals tie on that Bill DeWitt gave you.
Yeah, that's true.
Check ceremony.
Yeah. So, but he hasn't given me the power to fire people.
Okay.
So I just wonder, who thinks that I love the fact that you think I'm that powerful, but you really think that I can hold him accountable and threaten his job? I don't think I can.
I've seen that a lot on social media where people are tweeting at Derek Gould and Katie Wu, you're not holding them more accountable, the manager's more accountable. I hear them asking very hard and tough questions, and there's a balance with it too. You can't just go in there and be like, well, what the hell were you thinking putting Hicks in there, huh?
Yeah, people want us to ask John Mozeliak.
Yeah.
So tell us why you think you should have this job.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, you see those trophies? I don't know.
But anyway, I wish I could hold them. I wish I had that sort of juice. I just don't to hold those people accountable. Now, if there is a media person in America that has the ability to get front office people fired, just tell me about them. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
And thank you very much for your text. We do appreciate it. Coming up, Ivan Herrera is here. So might he get some catching experience while Andrew Kisner is out? It's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're looking for a great place for this Friday Eve to have a lunch, head to the Fenton Barn Grill. It's on Rudder Road, 701 Rudder Road in Fenton. Just put it into your GPS or go to the soccer park and just turn right at the soccer park, follow Rudder Road to the Fenton Barn Grill. I have lunch there on a regular basis, and it is spectacular. And if you're somebody who likes great barbecue, well, their pulled pork wrap at the Fenton Barn Grill is to die for. Carolina-style pulled pork, cheese blend, red onions, and pepperoncini with barbecue sauce. It is delectable, and you will love the pulled pork wrap at Fenton Barn Grill. Now, the other thing you need to know about Fenton Barn Grill is that they have the best trash wings in St. Louis. Get it with that signature golden sauce, and you will come back again and again and again. I got to tell you, those trash wings are addictive. And so's the staff at Fenton Barn Grill. Stop by and say hi to Kelly and Megan and Colleen and Alicia. A great staff, very friendly. They'll take care of you. You'll enjoy your time, whether it's lunch, maybe a business lunch, happy hour dinner for you and all of your friends and family at the Fenton Barn Grill.
Somebody.
8:05 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. It's the opening drive. Brooke, Carrie, Randy, and Matthew. Yvonne Herrera called up yesterday on the heels of the injury to Andrew Kisner. And fortunately, Kis is going to be okay. He is not going to be limited with
groin injury?
Yeah, that's a groin injury. That's a good way to put it.
He's going to be a little limited.
Oh, well, not as limited as Yadi.
No.
Yadi as a catcher started every day with ball one.
I can't. I can't.
Sorry. Yvonne Herrera in the minors this year was hitting .308 with a .989 OPS, and by all accounts, he was catching well. He has 8 home runs, 7 stolen bases. Now, last year, he was completely overwhelmed. Granted, he only had 18 at-bats, but he hit 111 with a .301 OPS up here at the major league level. Yvonne Herrera was supposed to succeed Yadi Molina. There was never going to be Wilson Contreras in St. Louis. It was going to go from Yadi to Herrera, but Herrera was overwhelmed, so the Cardinals decided to spend $87.5 million on Yadi's successor. My personal opinion is that for the duration of this season, Yvonne Herrera should be the Cardinals' primary catcher. I don't think he will be, but you need to evaluate this guy because I believe after 100 games, I've made a determination about whether or not I can win a World Series with this staff and with this manager and with this front office with Wilson Contreras. If it's a different staff and a different manager, I might feel different about Contreras, but I don't have confidence in this particular staff getting the most out of him. So I'm going to give Ivan Herrera the opportunity. Herrera had multiple years to work with Yadi in spring training, had that opportunity last year, and the Cardinals need a catcher who has the ability, I don't know if he does, but they need a catcher that has the ability to work with the staff. And oh, by the way, front office, Mike Matheny's not doing anything in baseball. Mend fences with Mike Matheny and get him to work with Ivan Herrera about working, because he did it with Yadi. Yadi gives a lot of credit to Mike Matheny. In 2004, they worked together, and Mike knows how to get catchers to deal with the pitching staff, to call pitches, to be a leader behind the plate.
Well, why not just bring up here in general to help with even Wilson Contreras? Here's the thing. To your point with what you're saying, are you just saying that you just throw away basically all that money you just spent on Wilson Contreras?
Oh, no. He's your DH, or next spring you try him out in left field.
After you said that he was going to be your primary catcher, you're just going to go ahead and concede and say, we're going to go ahead and turn things over to Ivan Herrera, who we haven't paid $87.5 million. He's
my primary catcher until he's not. Back in 2001, on the heels of Mark McGwire retiring, the Cardinals spent a lot of money on a first baseman, former Yankee named Tino Martinez. And then all of a sudden, a guy named Albert Pujols shows up, and Tino Martinez was the Cardinal first baseman until he wasn't anymore. And sometimes there are better options that arrive on the scene.
There's a ripple effect to this, though, because one, that's another free agent signing that is not panning out, and you can even couple that with Steven Matz because he's still in your bullpen right now.
It's only money.
It's a lot of money because guess what? There's also carnage from others in past. Andrew Miller, Mike Leake, Brett Cecil. There's a lot of other names that we can continue to list off where you spent a lot of money free agent signings that have
Dexter
not panned
Fowler.
off. You cannot continue to give up, Dexter Fowler. You cannot continue to just give up on guys that you are trying to bring into the organization. You have to find a way to make it work. So I do like your idea of bringing Mike Matheny to work with Ivan Herrera, work with Andrew Kisner, work with Wilson Contreras. You shouldn't be giving up on Wilson Contreras this easily or continue to make him your scapegoat. Because guess what? There's been plenty of games that the Cardinals have lost this season, and that includes on the pitching staff that Wilson Contreras had nothing to do with.
Yeah, right.
I like the idea of having him up here, having more opportunities to see if he can handle Major League pitching. And I think if he's on the roster next year, which I'm sure he will be, and Kisner is not, you have a situation where Wilson Contreras maybe plays 100 games at catcher, and then Herrera plays the other 62. That's a great split for me. He's still your primary catcher, and then you have 30 to 40 games where you can play him at DH. You find different spots for Contreras to still be in the lineup for 140, 130, 140 games. And so now your $87 million catcher is still your catcher, and you got a guy that you trust behind the plate to still do what you need him to do. The whole notion that this pitching staff and its failures are solely on Wilson Contreras is asinine to me. It's ridiculous. It's unfair. It's unfortunate. And I gave the example yesterday of, and we're going to talk about the next segment, where A.J. Pierzynski talked about how much Yadi brought to this team, which it really allowed this pitching staff to not do any homework. They just could show up for the group project and get an A. This isn't the same catcher. Everyone needs to have input and do their work and do their job in order to have success. And if they all are collectively working together, they can have that success as opposed to just leaning on one person to do it all.
And I want to reiterate, I preface my statement by saying that with this staff, Contreras is never going to achieve what he did with the Cubs. And it's because this staff, A, doesn't have a catcher. There is no catching instruction with this staff. And B, nobody gets better with this staff. Nobody has gotten
coaching
better.
Staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
With manager and coaching staff.
And that's why I'm saying, why not have something in place? You're talking about with AJ yesterday. You can't just assume, and it seems, and nobody said that he's supposed to be Yadi, but also you didn't put anything in place to kind of deal with Yadi Molina leaving and what he did for the organization. Everybody who was around the organization, especially even behind the scenes during spring training, even practices, you saw every little detail that Yadi Molina had his hand on. You know, there was so much that he was involved in, and it's disappointing because you should have more set in place with Wilson Contreras. Why not follow the Cubs model of how they handled Wilson Contreras?
Exactly.
If you even look at this past, what was his last year with the Cubs, he wasn't the primary catcher. They split up some of his time. And they seem to be doing that now with Andrew Kisner. But why was there not more of a plan in place to help Wilson Contreras succeed so that we aren't having this conversation of you're already trying to figure out ways to get him away from behind the plate?
Brooke, Joe Madden brought up the name Jeff Borzello, who played his minor league career with the Cardinals. Jeff Borzello was a Yankees coach from 1996 until 2006. You know what happened with the Yankees in 96, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2003? You know what happened with those? They went to the World Series. They won 4 of them. Then he goes to the Cubs, and the Cubs wind up going to and winning a World Series. This is a guy that has a catching background, and we talk about young catchers. When Jorge Posada came to the majors, he was supposed to be terrible defensively. Mm-hmm. There was the thought that he would never be an everyday catcher, and wound up catching for 4 World Series teams. Well, 4 World Champions and 7 World Series teams. 8. No, actually 5 World Champions. So the Cardinals would be well served to get a catching instructor coach on their staff somehow. And Jeff Borzello is out there as a free agent, so that's just the name I have. That's today's Fresh Take. You like it?
Yeah,
I do. I mean,
it's a good
whatever
discussion.
you can do to help get this team better is going to be beneficial for them. But at the end of the day, it's still the analytics that are running this. I can have the best catcher in the world. Mm-hmm. And but if I have all of these analytics and they tell me to throw this pitch at this time and this pitcher is not comfortable throwing that pitch, what the hell difference does it make?
No.
That's the bottom line. We continue to talk about coaching and players and all of that matters. Yep. But at the end of the day, I have to go with what feels right and what I feel comfortable. And again, I've seen pitchers, if you don't feel confident in a pitch, then you're not going to have, no matter what the analytics tell you, it's not going to be a great pitch for you to throw.
Coming up, A.J. Pierzynski was on the inside in that Cardinal clubhouse, and he had an interesting viewpoint about the Cardinals with Yadi Molina. That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, folks, you need to know about what's going on at Schnucks, and there's so much cool stuff happening at Schnucks stores right now, especially the Schnucks over at Crestwood, because they've had a great reopening. It's really awesome, and hopefully you've been there already to see inside the new store, because it is awesome. And if you haven't, well, you need to go check it out. They have great food options like their soul taco at their food hall, or the, barbecue, and Burgers and Bites. The burgers at Burgers and Bites at Schnucks are delicious, and they're all right there at Schnucks in Crestwood. Plus, a fresh pour station where you can choose from a great selection of craft beers and wine and soft drinks. It's a brand new shopping experience at Schnucks Crestwood, and you can eat, drink, and shop right there at the store. You'll see upgrades throughout the store, so you have to go check it out. Schnucks has been serving Crestwood since 1964, and they look forward to continuing serving you in the Crestwood area in the newly upgraded and enhanced store. Check out all the new things at the Schnucks in Crestwood, and before you go, make sure you download the Schnucks Rewards app. Check it out now. It's the new renovated Schnucks Crestwood. Check it out today.
Yadi ran the organization from head to toe. I mean, whatever Yadi wanted, Yadi got. And everyone listened to Yadi. So it's a great feeling as a player if you say, well, you're going to throw this pitch, I know you're not going to shake off. Well, great. And then the pitcher doesn't have to think. The pitcher doesn't even have to worry about it. I mean, they can watch some tape, but at the end of the day, they're like, all right, well, Yadi called curveball, I better throw a curveball. At times, the Cardinals were so Yadi dependent that they lost some of their, it was different. And I think it took some time. And if you remember when Wilson went away and came back, they were doing well again.
That is former big league catcher, former Cardinal A.J. Pierzynski yesterday here on 101 ESPN. Kerry had a great analogy, by the way, about how the pitching staff was kind of a group project that you do in school, but one person did all the work and then everybody got an A, and Yadi was the guy that was doing all the work. Ted Simmons, Hall of Fame catcher for the Cardinals, said that he thought Yadi was the best catcher because Yadi could not only be your catcher, but he could be your pitching coach, your hitting coach, and your manager. And A.J. Pierzynski said basically he was. And so maybe we all, and even the Cardinal front office, took for granted what impact Yadier Molina had on the franchise, not just on the pitchers, but the entire franchise.
No, I agree. And we did have somebody text in saying, like, please stop about Yadier Molina. He was approximately 8 days late for the Cardinals team spring training in 2022, and we know that he was in and out, but that doesn't take away. How many years was he there?
2004 he came up, so yeah, 18 years.
Okay. So I feel like that's a long time to be around.
4 World Series.
Yes.
Regarded by pretty much every. John Smoltz, Hall of Fame pitcher who has been around, you know. John Smoltz says that Yadier Molina was the best catcher he ever threw to. Pretty much every pitcher that Yadier Molina caught says that he was the best that they ever threw to. And this is veterans. This is people that were young pitchers that ascended, all of them say that he was the best. He changed people's abilities because he had a game plan. He knew their strengths and the hitter's weaknesses, and he exploited those strengths and weaknesses.
You know what else he brought? Was confidence, and you believed him. If he told you to throw a fastball away, you said, you know what, I don't feel confident, but if Yadi tells me that's the pitch to throw, now I have confidence in it. It's what good coaches do. It's what good teammates do. They give you the confidence that you may not have, and it's, again, has put Wilson Contreras in an unfair situation because he is not Yadi or Molina, and they have not built up that trust to say, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. I want to throw this pitch, and I'm going to trust and believe that this is the correct pitch to throw in this moment. Yadi had 18 years worth of credibility, and Wilson Contreras is on, what month are we in? Third? 3 months? 3 months of credibility.
Fourth,
It's not the same thing. So it's going to take time for them to build that trust with him. And here's the thing. Some of those guys aren't going to be here long enough to build up that trust with him. So it's something that comes with time and comes with work and going over and over situations and being in the fire where you believe that this guy has your back. This is just a group of guys that have not worked together long enough to be able to have built up that trust and that rapport with one another.
And how did the Cardinals not recognize that? How did the Cardinals not make sure that the organization, not just the catcher's position, but the organization was prepared for the departure of Yadi or Molina? They knew for a year he was going to be gone. It seems to me that if A.J. Pierzynski knew it after being here for a half a year, that the people in the front office should have recognized, okay, this is a really important person. Let's analyze what he's done for the organization, and let's try to be best prepared. We aren't going to replace him, but let's try to be best prepared for the eventuality of his departure.
And here is why analytics are terrible. Because something tells you that the numbers can replace the person, and you don't have to worry about what the actual person brings. What you say all the time, they're men, not machines. That's why you feel like, oh, well, we can plug anybody. It's an arrogance to feel like that this player's value is nothing more than just a number on a sheet of paper. And that's the part of the analytics that drive me absolutely crazy.
Yeah, because you can't replace the feel of the game. You can't replace what he's done for the organization over the years, and that's unfair to anybody. Whoever it was, Sean Murphy, whoever that you were going to bring in, it's unfair to just think that somebody can easily slip into that system that had Yadi all over it. It had Yadi all over it, and of course it's not going to pan out as well when Yadi's not around. And Yadi's enjoying retirement, so I doubt that he'll be coming here soon, but I do see him maybe eventually down the road wanting to come back, maybe with the Cardinals organization, maybe with a managerial position, but it will have to be a job and a position where he has the voice, where he can do what he did with the Cardinals, which is have a say in how things go.
And at the very least, shouldn't the Cardinals have him in Jupiter in spring training? By all accounts, he likes Jupiter. And shouldn't he be there to work with all the catchers? You're going to have Contreras. You're going to have Herrera. Shouldn't Yadi or Molina be there? Shouldn't you have a catching? Mike Matheny was a roving catching instructor in the organization before he became the Cardinal manager. Dave Ricketts was that guy before Mike Matheny. Dave Ricketts has passed away. The Cardinals historically have had a former catcher in the organization to work with young guys. I don't know who that is right now. I don't know if there is and someone from the Cardinal organization can anonymously text us if they want. 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! I don't know who is teaching catching in the Cardinal organization right now. And when you have a young catcher like Herrera and a guy who clearly the organization isn't comfortable with the way that Wilson Contreras has caught, maybe it'd be a good thing to have somebody at the very least to bounce things off of for the catchers. Yeah,
and that's what I was talking about in that last segment of what did the Cubs do? And we've talked about it. You talked about it as well. What Joe Madden said of setting up Wilson Contreras for success. That's part of everyone. Leadership is evaluating your talent properly. And how many times, and this isn't just when we're talking about Wilson Contreras, but how many times have we questioned the proper way that they're evaluating talent, or if they are or not evaluating talent properly? And that even goes to this situation with Wilson Contreras. Are they not doing that? Because if you're evaluating the talent properly, you've been able to see him over the years. He was in your division. You see what the Cubs did to set him up for success. Maybe you should do some of the same things as well. You're not trying to emulate the Cubs organization as a whole. It's seeing what worked for that player specifically and what we need to do to set him up for success in the future here.
That takes a person willing to put their ego aside, put their pride aside, and say, what can I do to make this team better and help us be the best versions of ourselves? And I don't know, where the egos lie, but I know that they're generally in sports and in most walks of life, when people have power, have success, there's a lot of ego there. And the best people that I've been around don't have a lot of ego. They are willing to listen. I'm a head coach. My coaches tell me all the time, I listen to everything. Now, I'm not going to do everything you say, but I listen to every opinion that they have, because there is validity in what they say. And it's important for me as the head coach to listen to what they tell me. At the end of the day, it's my name that goes on the wins and losses, so I have to do what I feel is best. But if I'm not willing to listen, if I'm so arrogant and my ego is so big when I walk in the door that I don't even listen, I'm not going to have good people around to work with me for a very long time.
There you go. And that's the bottom line, is to be a great leader. What you want to do is surround yourself with great people and let them do their job.
There you go.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. By the way, one of my favorite Yadi moments was early in his career, 2014 down the stretch, game against Milwaukee here, 11th inning, and he takes over in the 11th, allows a base hit and then a sacrifice against the Brewers, and then gets a ground out, and then they call for an intentional walk. He gets it. He's not happy about the intentional walk, and then he walks to the next guy. And Yadi comes out to the mound, and Yadi's got his mitt, and he's pounding Carlos Martinez on his chest and yelling at him. Mm-hmm. And Carlos struck the next guy out and then was sensational for the rest of the season. And it was really interesting to see how one moment from a guy like Yadi or Molina kind of changed the demeanor of a pitcher. And obviously Carlos had his issues, but he was a really good pitcher for 2 or 3 years. It seemed like that moment was kind of a watershed moment for Carlos Martinez, at least for the time that he was good. That's Brooke. That's Carrie. I'm Randy. It's 101 ESPN. And coming up, do you need a fighter, Matthew? Yes, we do. We need a fighter. So text in to the text line, brought to you by Air Comfort Services, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Text in the word fight and your name, and perhaps you can fight me next on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocc with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals yesterday in Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Marlins, trying to salvage a win right off the bat. Matthew Liberatore, starting on short rest, gets rocked by the Marlins. The Cardinals are able to claw back and take the lead in the top of the ninth with a Jordan Walker 2-run shot, but unfortunately Jordan Hicks skies a throw to Paul Goldschmidt, and the Cardinals lose that game on a walk-off fashion, 10-9 by the Miami Marlins. They will try to survive this 4-game series and get away without a sweep. Tonight, 5:40 first pitch. It's going to be Jack Flaherty, the righty for the Cardinals, facing off against the righty for the Marlins, Yuri Perez. Perez on the season 5-2 with a 2.47 ERA. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I'm Kerry Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Adam from Tennessee. Adam, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are y'all this morning?
What part of Tennessee are you from?
I'm from West Tennessee, about an hour north of Memphis, here in Jackson.
Okay.
Oh, I have family in Jackson, Tennessee. Definitely a lot of great songs written about Jackson, Tennessee, too.
Really? Absolutely.
Yes, there's a ton of country songs written about Jackson, Tennessee.
Didn't know that.
Easy rhyme, I guess?
It's just some inspiration. It's a beautiful area out there.
Okay.
All right, Adam, you ready to take on Randy Carricker?
Let's do it.
All righty. Which modern-era Cardinal is tied for the franchise record in hit by pitches with 87? Is it Jim Edmonds, Yadier Molina, or Albert Pujols?
Repeat that for me.
Which modern-era Cardinal is tied for the Cardinals' franchise record with hit by pitches with 87? Jim Edmonds, Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols.
Go Yadi.
Novak Djokovic became the third player in tennis history to win 350-plus major matches in singles yesterday, joining Serena Williams and which other male player? Is it Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, or Andre Agassi?
Let's go Federer.
Happy birthday to Pau Gasol, the man solely responsible for Kobe Bryant's 4th and 5th championships, according to Matthew Rocchio. Which team traded Gasol to the Lakers in a blockbuster trade? Is it the Toronto Raptors, the Memphis Grizzlies, or the New Orleans Hornets? That is absurd, Rocc.
That would be the Memphis Grizzlies.
Literally not what I said, but okay.
I love it. During the summer of '98, 4 different players hit the 50 home run mark. McGuire, Sosa, Griffey Jr., and who else? Is it Greg Vaughn, Albert Bell, or Jose Canseco?
Man, that's a tough one. Greg Vaughn.
All right, we will double-check the score, and we will bring in Mr. Randy Carricker.
Adam, how you feeling?
Not very good. Not very good.
Not very good? Well, you know, sometimes it works out well for you. Normally we say if you get 2 or 3, you got a shot. And, Adam, you might have a shot. Oh, look what we got here.
Happy birthday! What is this?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brooke. Happy birthday to you.
I'll put it up so the YouTube can see.
The interwebs.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we have Adam from Tennessee on, so this is a great birthday celebration.
Look at Randy coming in.
You can see on YouTube, we can see it delayed.
Oh, okay.
Randy, say hello to Adam.
Adam, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, Randy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Randy, here we go.
Okay.
Which modern-era Cardinal is tied for the franchise record with hit by pitches with 87?
Modern-era Cardinal hit by pitches with 87. I will play the chalk here, and I saw him get hit a lot. I think it was Albert Pujols.
Novak Djokovic became the third player in tennis history to win 350-plus major matches in singles yesterday, joining Serena Williams and which other male player?
Brooke, I think I'll do the old lifeline here.
Okay.
350 singles matches in majors. Is that correct? Or just singles matches?
So 350-plus major matches in singles yesterday.
Okay, got it. Okay, so lifeline.
Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, Andre Agassi.
I'm gonna go Roger Federer.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right. Happy birthday to Pau Gasol, and according to Rocc, the man solely responsible for championships 4 and 5 for Kobe Bryant.
I heard that too,
Which
Kerry.
team traded Gasol to the Lakers in a blockbuster trade?
For his brother, by the way. It was the Memphis Grizzlies. Mark Gasol got traded to the Grizzlies in exchange for Pau Gasol.
Solely responsible for Kobe's 4th and 5th
no doubt
championship.
about that.
No way
No
he
doubt.
wins that if Pau is not on the team.
There are lies being told. That's true.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, during the summer of 98, 4 different players hit the 50 home run mark. McGuire, Sosa, Griffey Jr., and who else?
Greg Vaughn. 50.
Are you? Is that your final answer? I know you said it with
No,
her
that's
as
definitely
she
his
was
final answer.
answering as she was reading the question. You said it, but is that your final answer?
I will go with Greg Vaughn with 50,
Okay.
right on the mark, I think. I think I'll do that.
Need much help with that one, did you?
This is
a fun summer.
This is a tough one. Only one question was answered incorrectly by either player today. So a one-question win. Do we get Adam from Tennessee, long-range winner, or does Megamind take down Brooks, countryman? Statesman?
Statesman.
Statesman? Does statesman work?
Countryman,
Is
yeah.
that a phrase?
Yeah.
Brooks Statesman, ring that bell.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis, with the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Just win, baby.
I didn't think the snare was
That was intriguing.
The snare and the
Was that a
cymbal was a
slip
little
of the finger,
unnecessary.
or was that
Slip of the finger.
Okay, good.
Still slip of the finger.
Don't worry about that last one there, Adam. It was a good fight. You lost 4-3. That's about as best as you can hope to do.
Gave it my best shot.
You did great.
You did fantastic, getting 3 correct. The only one you got incorrect was number 1. Which modern era Cardinal is tied for the franchise record for hit by pitches with 87? Adam from Tennessee answered Yadi or Molina. You correctly got it with Albert Pujols. Novak Djokovic became the 3rd player in tennis history with 350-plus major match wins in singles yesterday, joining Serena Williams and Roger Federer, who has the most obviously in tennis history. Happy birthday to Paul Gasol. He was, in fact, traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Los Angeles Lakers, a very large part, and then winning 2 championships. And then during the summer of
main part.
4 different players hit the 50 home run mark. Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey Jr., and Greg Vaughn hit 50. Albert Bell right behind him with 49 in that magical summer. A 4-3 win for Randy over Adam. Adam, thank you so much for joining the fight and joining the show today.
Thank y'all. Go Vols.
Yeah.
No.
Rocky
I'm gonna
Top,
drop
you'll
that.
always be.
I'm going to turn off your mic.
Okay.
Matthew, you can. I'll give it to you. MIZ.
ZOU.
No way. Oh,
You want to do yours, CD?
sure. ILL.
I.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
There we
I
go.
couldn't do it with you, but I was going to give you your
I
moment.
appreciate it. We both got orange, so we're cousins.
Yeah.
What did the
Distant
Cardinals
cousins.
do last night? What did the Cardinals do in their game against the Marlins?
Lost.
Oh, so we got
Blew another
bird
save.
droppings. We got bird droppings coming your way here on 101 ESPN. It is time for bird droppings or bird watch here on 101 ESPN. There are some positives. We've got some positive people, but that was a bird dropping. So, Brooke, are you going to go with a bird dropping or a bird watch today?
I'm going to go with, sorry, my birthday hat's falling off. Who would have thunk that a dog hat would give me so much trouble? I'm going to go with a bird watch. I want to be positive because I do want to give credit to the Cardinals offense because I do think that this offense was meant to produce in the way that they did last night and be able to claw their way back. So you have to give a shout out for Nolan Arenado, 3 for 5, 3 doubles, should have been 4. But CD, you were talking about that earlier, how he was absolutely robbed. That was a great catch.
Hell of a play.
Wilson Contreras, this has been a good series offensively for Wilson Contreras. And when you're talking about that contract, that's what he was brought in to do. I know they said primary catcher sometimes, I think, is what we're settling with right now. But he was also brought in because they kept talking about how this would be an upgrade offensively. And when he's able to do what he's done, especially in this series, then that helps a lot. He had 3 hits. And then also Jordan Walker, the way that he was able to come in with that clutch 2-run bomb last night. I mean, that gives me a lot of hope and positivity for the future because of that launch angle and maybe the mechanics or it's just he's doing what works best for him, and that's always going to pay off for the Cardinals in the long run. And then Brendan Donovan, even though he's dealing with shoulder issues and that's been bothering him, so we haven't seen him defensively, it was a 3-hit night for him. So that's what your offense should be doing day in and day out.
I love it. Absolutely love it. That launch angle is proving beneficial for old Jordan.
Is it really?
J-Dub. He worked on it.
Or maybe just give him some time.
Or maybe just do what you do. I don't know.
Exactly.
So my bird watch, which Matthew is clearly upset about because they lost last night. He wants it to be droppings, but I am a positive thinker. I want to.
I'm not evil. You guys got sunshine coming out of places. Is all I'm saying.
Because the future is bright. Is that what you said in the break, Rocc? The future for the Cardinals
I was making
is
fun
bright.
of you.
Yeah, I know, but it is. So I'm going to give you a lineup that's going to pique your interest and have you all very excited for next season. Now this is 2024. Let's not we got to spend some time before we get there. But starting in center field, batting first is going to be Tommy Edman.
Okay.
Batting second, where am I at? Playing first base is one Paul Goldschmidt. Okay. Batting third, your left fielder, Jordan Walker. Batting fourth, third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth, the DH, Nolan Gorman. Batting sixth, catcher, Wilson Contreras.
Yikes.
Batting seventh, right fielder, Lars Nootbaar.
Oh, nutty neuters.
Batting eighth, playing second base, Brendan Donovan. And batting ninth, shortstop, Mason Wynn.
Oh, my.
Oh, I see what you did there.
This 2024 lineup is going to be spectacular. You're going to have to wait to see it. But it's going to be very good.
Who's going to pitch?
Thank you. I was just about to say, if you're going to list a lineup, I need 1 through 5 rotation.
You're not going to worry about that. We worry about that when we get to it.
Does that matter? Oh, wait. Wait, what's happened this season?
8 home runs a game and win 8-7.
You and I kind of thought 8 runs a game this year.
It's proven not to be enough.
Yeah.
We got 9 last night.
He might not be ready next season, but if anybody's been keeping up with Tink Hintz and his progression, that's been pretty exciting
Minor
to
league
see.
pitcher of the month for the Cardinals. Pretty good.
Is he a starter or is he a closer?
He'll wind up probably being a closer.
Yeah.
Randy, which level was he pitching at when he got that?
A-ball.
Okay.
Yeah. But have you not paid attention to the Cardinals since he'll be here next year? What the hell are you talking about?
Splat after that.
What the hell are you doing? Yeah, he's on this easy pass. You know the easy pass at the roller coasters? Where you don't have to wait in line?
Guys, the Cardinals have a red-hot pitcher at AAA. 4-1 with a 3.13 earned run average at AAA. He's thrown 46 innings. He has 52 or 56 strikeouts in 46 innings. He's been brilliant at AAA. I don't know why we don't see that AAA pitcher here in St. Louis, because here in St. Louis, he's 1-3 with a 6.75 and has 22 strikeouts in 32 innings. Why is Matthew Liberatore dominant at AAA and terrible at the major league level? That is a question that I would like to have answered.
Big league hitters or something else?
I can't say that because I told you all I saw his first start versus the Brewers and I thought he was fantastic. He had hitters off balance. He did a great job of changing speed, changing location. It looked like a confident young man pitching in his first game and really doing a great job. And from that point on, it has been kind of
he's disintegrated
downhill.
Yeah, I wonder if what is being taught at the minor league level is not being taught or at least emphasized at the major league level. But it is kind of weird how very few players, when they get to St. Louis, whether from other major league teams or the minors, get better.
Yeah, that's a concern because you wonder then, is there something that they're being asked to change or somebody's tinkering with something, somebody's getting in their head with too much information? I don't know. I think we've heard about people being asked to change mechanics this season already, right?
Yeah, well, that's happened. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you just wonder, and it's kind of troubling.
It is troubling because you want your best, I guess, people to help the players at the major league level, right?
Yep. By the way, Libertor, minor leagues, ground outs to flyouts, 1.35 to 1 at the minor league level. 1 to 1 at the major league level. So management here, on or off the record, complains about the Cardinal pitching staff becoming a fly ball staff. Well, maybe that's an issue with them rather than the individual pitchers. Just wondering. There is your bird droppings.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rocc. Thank you for being such.
I love Brooks and Carrie's positivity.
Yes,
that was so lovely.
We're sunshine lollipops.
We're moving on to next season.
This season, clearly.
We're sailing away.
And now, if they win 40 games in a row, we'll jump back on the bandwagon. But 20, no.
You guys agree the Cardinals are also moved on to 2024? So, like Saturday, we're going to see Thompson start with Herrera as the cather, right?
Saturday?
100%, right?
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, at some point. Yeah.
It would make sense on why you brought both of them up. Why are you saying that?
Just because I doubt it happens. Yep.
You don't think it's going to happen?
Here's an amazing stat for you. And I know this is old schooly stuff, but in 2004, the Cardinals lost 57 games all year. They'll have 57 losses by mid-July this year.
That's tough.
It's dominant versus not dominant.
Somebody called me a Debbie Downer on the live stream.
Kinda, yeah.
I'm
just being honest. I'm just being honest. When you're wrong, you're wrong, and when you're right, you're right. So, yeah, you're not wrong.
You want a stat here?
I love a stat. Is it analytic?
Cardinals are only 5 games out of fourth place in their division.
Yes.
Behind Pittsburgh.
The 2023 world champion.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
So obviously you're not doing too bad then.
All right, no, they're doing really bad.
Yeah, the Pirates have gone something like 8-24 in their last 32 games.
The Reds have been interesting still.
Yeah. And the Cardinals are still 5 games behind.
12.5 back. I told you all, if you were under double digits, you had a chance. If you're at 14 to 15 by the All-Star break, it's been real.
By the way, we put out a poll for our live listeners on the YouTube. We just hit 200 votes. And the question was, where do you put the blame for the Cardinal struggles? 88% voting the front office over the coaching staff right now.
Yeah, well, who put that coaching staff in place?
Front office.
There you go. Here's a fun one, by the way. August 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm going to a couple of these games. Cards and Rockies. Those are your bottom 2 teams in the National League right now.
What a great game that will be.
It'll be actually
16 to 15, I think. It'll be a fun one.
You have Washington snuggled comfortably between the Cardinals and the Rockies. But I think that's going to be fun. I'm going to give Nolan Arenado a standing ovation when I go.
But we're saying it probably won't be that fun of a game. Maybe you go for certain moments.
It'll be highly competitive and entertaining.
Baseball is you got a lot of games left.
Yeah.
If you're this bad. Like, at least with football, it's weeks at a time, but it's not a lot of games.
Well, the other thing about football, as we learned, is that you're seeing college football players every weekend to prepare for the draft in October.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't know who the draftees are in baseball, so that makes it more difficult to have something to look forward to. But I was thinking about that last night. That's something that we, as a fan base, need to start thinking about. Would it be better for the Cardinals to get the first pick in the draft?
No.
There's no way that they would be fine with selling with that. That is bad. And maybe
baseball.
And the Cardinals are 9 games ahead of Kansas City and Oakland, so it's going to be hard. But that's at least a high draft choice, which the Cardinals haven't had, I think, since they took J.D. Drew in '98. So they need to, or was it '97 for J.D.? I guess it was '97 for J.D. So they need to. No, it must have been '98.
And say what you will about the inconsistencies of like the MLB draft, but it's like the top 2-3 picks the last 10 years, they seem to be on a pretty consistent like 3-4 year track, which is not something you can say about a lot of baseball prospects.
And Randy Flores and his staff, they draft really well. They do a great job.
They do.
Coming up next here on 101 ESPN, we've got our rush hour reset. The Cardinals with high drama last night in Miami. We'll revisit it next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. This summer, I'm taking up a new hobby, one that I know will last a long time, and that is golfing. And I'm learning at the best spot in town. That is Family Golf and Learning Center. I've always wanted to learn how to golf, but I was really intimidated about how hard it would be just to kind of pick up and learn. And I didn't even know where to start. But after my first couple lessons with RJ, Melissa, and just the wonderful staff over at Family Golf and Learning Center, I was actually able to hit it straight and most importantly, just feel comfortable out there. I went out yesterday, or the other day, that was last week actually, all my days are getting mixed up, and RJ really took the time to break things down for me, and that's what they do there at Family Golf and Learning Center. With several pros on staff, they have the ability to help anyone with their golf game. Like if you're like me, just starting out, or you want to improve your game, they provide a friendly and encouraging practice experience for the individual and for the family. All abilities and ages are welcome. So join me on this golf journey today. For more information, go to familygolfonline.com. Learn, practice, play your best golf.
To me, it's mind-boggling to see a franchise that is this accustomed to winning to be this overnight thin in pitching. I mean, it is dramatically thin in starting pitching and bullpen. And to me, it's as if that snuck up on us. It's like, whoa, where'd this come from? It is an alarming state for the Cardinals to be in, to not get people out, to score 8 runs and lose baseball games.
Cardinals' earned run average since June 1st is well over 8. And that was Greg Amsinger earlier today here on 101 ESPN, where it's for 9:02. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke Grimsley, Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis, Randy Carricker. Time for our rush hour reset. The Cardinals allowing a dramatic run last night, a couple of runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to provide a walk-off victory for the Miami Marlins after the Cardinals had taken the lead courtesy of Jordan Walker in the top of the 9th.
Contreras leads. He goes the pitch. Swing drive. Hammer left. Jordan Walker hits a mammoth home run. Oh, what a trip around the bases. The Cardinals stun the Marlins down to their last strike and take a 2-run lead on a bomb over the bullpen.
It was a bomb by Jordan Walker, but then we had to play the bottom of the 9th. Jordan Hicks came on for the save. De La Cruz walked. Garrett Cooper struck out swinging. Gurriel with a base hit. And then Joey Wendell stepped to the plate against Jordan Hicks.
Now his 1-2 pitch. Runners take off. Little tapper in front of the mound. The runners will advance. Double clutch, and he threw it away. Down the line. 1 run scores. Gurriel around third. He's going to score, and the Marlins walk off. Unbelievable.
Chip with the call on Bally Sports. He'll join us tomorrow morning here on 101 ESPN. And the Cardinals fall by a score of 10-9. Martin Kilcoyne asked this last night on the Twitter machine. Is this the worst loss of the season? We all have recency bias, but it's hard to imagine that there could be a worse loss after the dramatic way that Jordan Walker gave them the lead.
I think that it is. And there's been many, which is the
Yastrzemski's home run against the Giants?
Yeah, that was a pretty big one. But you still felt like, okay, maybe there is some little glimmer of hope left, but it's just been really tough, everything leading into it. You have Adam Wainwright going on the IL. You see kind of the writing on the wall with that one. Then you have this situation where the offense is doing what the offense is supposed to do after they got, shelled 15-2 the day before, and the offense showed up, clawed their way back in, and you're hoping, okay, in a one-run game, they're going to be able to finish it off. And it was just very Cardinals-esque this season, the way that unfolded with Jordan Hicks in the 9th.
Sable's home run, walk-off home run.
That was bad in San Francisco.
That was a tough one, too. I remember that one. That's the one when Wilson Contreras was sitting on the ground and it was left hanging over the plate. I still think this one is worse.
I do too.
Just the way
you did it to yourself. It's self-inflicted.
Yeah, a bad pitch located in a bad area, a guy gets a hold of it. That happens. Mm-hmm. But to not be able to field your position properly, that is troubling. And again, it's not intentional. It's something that I'm sure hopefully won't happen again, but it's a tough way to lose that game, especially after you just played the cut. Jordan Walker's first go-ahead home run in a situation like that to potentially win the game. Yeah, that's tough.
Last night, after the game, Bernie Miklasz, our buddy, put some interesting quotes from Bill DeWitt on Twitter. This is from 2017 when he fired Mike Matheny. Bill DeWitt said, in some places, a winning record or even 500 is even acceptable. Not with this city, not with this franchise, not with its history, and not with these fans. DeWitt also said, continuity is desirable, but when it's not working, you feel like a change needs to be made. And here are the Cardinals with a record right now of 35-51. And I think it's reasonable to ask, with that being the quote, continuity is desirable, but when it's not working, you feel like a change needs to be made. Why would anybody think this is working?
It's not working. It's not working whatsoever. And doing the same thing over and over again is insanity. Is it not?
It is. Albert Einstein said that.
Oh God, no, let's not bring that one up, because remember that ruffled a feather yesterday.
Yeah, it did.
It's not the definition, technically.
It's not technically a definition. It's the saying. And Albert Einstein, isn't he kind of smart? He's pretty smart.
Maybe the smartest guy ever.
Yes.
Not around anymore.
No.
Great hair.
Oh my God. Great hair. But doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is truly insanity. And at this point, some formula that they've come together or put together for this season, when you're looking at roster construction, we're seeing the deficiencies just being exposed right now with the Cardinals, and it still all goes back to the pitching staff. It really does. And those pieces are not in place to make this team successful. And you just have guys who are not doing what they need to do fundamentally.
Right.
Defensively, sometimes offensively. What is the thing you can hang your hat on right now with the Cardinals this season?
They're going to score runs.
Yeah.
Not every game, but
that's what I'm saying.
Their ability to come back into games has been outstanding.
Yeah. But if you look on a regular basis, you say, okay, what's the hallmark of this team? Is it the bullpen? No. Is it the starting rotation? No. Is it the offense? No. Is it the defense? No. There is no real hallmark, quality hallmark for this team. I think the one thing that I'll remember is the devastating late losses.
Yes.
I guess that has been the hallmark of this team. Just not good pitching, not good all around. Who is the guy on this roster that is, you got your great players. Every locker room has great players, but you also have that voice for the team. The one person that, if he's talking, you're listening.
This is why, because that guy isn't on this team, CD, and maybe Jordan Walker will wind up being that guy.
It's hard for young players to be that, though,
yeah, it
especially
is.
early in their careers. Like that's a difficult task.
And it's harder in baseball now. There aren't as many of those guys running around, like when the Cardinals were able to trade for a Will Clark or they brought in Danny Dreesen in 1987, or teams in the 80s used to always trade for Don Baylor at the end of the year because he was such a great leader. And even in the 90s, there were, like, when the Cardinals brought in Eric Davis and Sean Dunston, those guys had presence in the clubhouse. They weren't everyday players, but they brought history and they brought cachet and they brought a veteran presence, and those guys just aren't running around anymore. And that's one of the reasons that if I were the Cardinals and if I were in charge, I would do everything I could to try to get Max Scherzer into that clubhouse. And I know Max Scherzer doesn't like the Cardinals anymore, but I would say, I need you. I need your personality to permeate this clubhouse so that some of the young players, when you aren't here anymore, understand what it takes to be a psycho.
Yeah, it's about channeling. It's about channeling that anger in a good way.
Yeah.
That frustration, that anger in a good way, because you even see with Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and even Adam Wainwright, what do we Eagle Scouts, right? Eagle Scouts, which is a fantastic thing, and it's very Cardinals-esque. But you need some guys with that edge, that fire, that anger, that anger that you can channel into wins, and somebody who can go fire guys up in that clubhouse and tell them this is not okay.
And there were a million guys during the Cardinals' awesome run, but maybe the top of the list was Chris Carpenter,
I was about
a starting
to say,
pitcher.
Chris Carpenter.
That's what I was going to ask that. Can a starting pitcher be that person for the entire team?
Yeah.
If it's somebody
Even if
who
they're
has
only
his
pitching
air.
every fifth day, not,
One time, people didn't like it. Game in Cincinnati, Sunday night game, I think. And Brendan Ryan was late to his position. And Chris Carpenter's ready to go. So after the first half inning, Carpenter sets him down, and he goes in and he just berates Brendan Ryan. Because he was immature and showed up late, and Carp didn't want that.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to abide that. And when you can back it up, that's the key. Carp was the guy that in the playoffs told everybody after the Cardinals had won Game 4 against Philadelphia, we're facing Halladay the next night, gets on the bus and tells Nick Punto and Gerald Laird, hey guys, just give me a run tomorrow and we're good. And they got him a run, and the Cardinals won the game 1-0. That's what you need.
This person just texted in and said we had him and we broke him. I was going to say Wilson Contreras from the 918 said that he is the guy. He is the person, the fiery personality, the person that people will ride with and listen to when he is. And part of it is he wasn't doing well enough during the earlier parts of the season. But that part of that is his spirit was a bit broken because of all of the things that were going back and forth.
But once again,
I think he's that guy.
You should let guys be who they are.
You have
right?
to. Right.
And that's when that comes to their playing ability, when it comes to their personalities, you have to let guys. What got them there to this point, as long as they're not going out and committing crimes, just what got them to this point, let them be who they are instead of trying to fit them into your mold specifically of what you think they should be.
And that's why a manager can be the leader. Is Brian Snitker allowing Ronald Acuna to be himself in Atlanta? Ozzie Albies, those personalities, yes. Look at the dramatic change in Texas this year. They have the 4th best record in baseball. Bruce Bochy goes in, changes the culture of the clubhouse, and they're winning, and they're playing great. Skip Schumacher goes in and changes the culture in Miami with his personality. Dusty went in after all of the devastation left by the scandal, changed the culture in Houston. Sometimes your manager can be the leader. I remember when Whitey got hired, and people... This is 1980. Said people asked him in the initial press conference, "Who's the leader of your team going to be?" Whitey said, "Well, I'm the manager. I'm going to be the leader." So sometimes there's no doubt that Tony La Russa was the leader of his team, right? Sometimes the coach or the manager, Mike Tomlin, is the leader of his team, right? You got leaders in the room, but Mike Tomlin, he is the tip of the spear.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's important, and you have players that also have that mentality, are willing to, as you said, abide by the rules and the regulations, and everyone falls in line and everybody does what they need to do. And when you don't win games.
That's our rush hour reset here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, Jeremy Rutherford was at Blues Prospect Camp. He is going to join us to talk about who caught his eye next on 101 ESPN. Our buddy Jeremy Rutherford is with us on the Celebrity Line on 101 ESPN. JR, how have you enjoyed our YouTube presentation so far in the first couple of days?
I need to get on there. I saw that it launched. I have not had a chance to look at you beautiful people yet.
Oh, you got to tune in. You got to check us out. Yeah, and it's Brooke's birthday.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, happy birthday, Brookie.
Thank you. And I have a little birthday hat on.
Yeah.
And
JR's like, there's only certain people who call me Brookie, and JR's one of them. And it makes me feel very hockey-esque, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where it came from, yeah.
Yeah.
JR, you did great work at the Blues prospect camp over the weekend. Who really caught your eye? Who was the person that you thought, okay, this guy has a chance to be an NHL player?
Definitely Dalibor Dvorsky, and I know you guys have been talking about him a lot and hearing about him a lot here lately, and I'll get to another couple guys here in a minute, but Dvorsky looks like the real deal. And, you know, I felt like reading the mock drafts, he could go at 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, and I really felt that when Arizona went with the defenseman, that was going to push a forward down who was expected to go higher, and that's exactly what happened. When Detroit went with Nate Danielson at number 9, Dvorsky's sitting there on the board, and just watching him and talking to him and listening to guys like Alexander Steen and Keith Tkachuk talk about him. Just a lot of poise and composure and a ton of talent, not just offensively gifted, but what he does away from the puck as well. Just a great player in Dvorsky. And then another guy that I think I'd touch on here is Vorbiev. He's a guy the Blues drafted a couple years ago. His name is Ivan Vorbiev, a big kid, a lot of skill, gets through the defenders. Looks like he's going to be a guy that isn't going to get as much attention as Dvorsky, but looks like a real good player.
Dvorsky is obviously the Blues were ecstatic when he fell to them. Who are some comparisons that you can give us for Dvorsky and what he could be in his future?
Well, I don't want to be too convenient with this, but it was interesting, I thought, when Keith Tkachuk was watching him, and he said he had some skill level like a Pavel Demitra in terms of strength on the puck and also making some passes. You know, listening to Dvorsky talk, he said growing up that Sid Crosby was his idol. You know, I want to find the player out there, the prospect out there who Sidney Crosby wasn't his idol growing up. So I think he also said John Tavares, you know, some guys that he's kind of modeled his game after. But I know this is cliche when young players say this, but I really do put stock into it. And, Kerry, you talk to young people all the time. You know, when they say, I want to be my own guy, like, who wouldn't want somebody coming up saying, man, you play like Crosby or you play like Demitra? You know, that's a compliment. But when you got a guy who just turned 18, literally a couple weeks ago, Dvorsky, and he says, I want to be my own guy, to me that tells a lot about him.
What were your impressions of Bolduc? I know that you tweeted about him. What do you think about his progression in the prospect camp?
Yeah, I talked to him for about a half hour a couple weeks ago. I think the piece is going to come out now. It's early next week at The Athletic. And, you know, real good conversation. He left camp pretty early last year. Doug Armstrong said, you know, you got to earn it. You got to earn the right to stay. And he didn't. You know, I think he had aspirations of trying to make the team. You're a hot shot prospect who scored 50 goals a couple years ago in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. He did it again this year. So you got these high expectations, and, you know, it just didn't work out for him. But Patrick Waugh, as you guys know, was his coach up in Quebec, and he told me a couple weeks ago, this will all be in the story, that they spent so much time on video and going out in practice and working in the defensive zone. So in this camp, guys, you know, maybe a little sluggish at times, a hiccup here or there in the defensive zone, but he's got the offensive talent, we know. And we got to keep in mind that he's played a ton of hockey. And this guy went from Blues camp to the Quebec season to the Quebec playoffs to the Memorial Cup. They win that. He's a champion. And then now he comes to this. So he has not been off his skates that much in the last 12 months.
What were your impressions of Coach Alexander Steen?
How about that? Yeah. You know, I heard you say this the other day, Brooke, that Alexander Steen was always known for if you put the microphone in his face, he would swat it away, right? And I think it was Lou Korak, NHL.com. He made sure to get that microphone real snug up to Alex's mouth the other day and got the swat away. So, but it's just great to see him. Like, when I see Alexander Steen, you know, I think an era of Blues hockey and a player that was just so tremendous. He's top 10 in a lot of categories, games played, you know, points, so on and so forth. But more than that, when you think of character and you think of culture within the Blues locker room, you think of Alexander Steen. So if he can take that to the prospects, granted, he's just going to be doing that with the European guys for now because he'll go back to Sweden. But he was in town for this camp. Everybody there knows he's a Stanley Cup champion, looks up to him. You know, I think he's going to have a future here in St. Louis one day, whether it's as an assistant coach or whether it's up in the box. And I think Alexander Steen is going to bring a ton of what we saw from his career to this organization when he does come back on a more permanent basis.
Hey, JR, you've been asked about this a lot. Do you think there's a chance that Doug Armstrong isn't done, that there might be a chance that he could get rid of one of those defensive contracts by the start of the season? They have 8 one-way defensemen right now, right? 8 defensemen under one-way contracts?
Yeah, 8 one-way, and then Callie Rosen is on a 2-way. That's Carey's guy, right? He's on a 2-way.
Rosen.
So he can be sent down, but with the way he played last year, you think he'd be part of this group. But there's going to be a lot. Here's the way I see it, Randy. I would not think that Doug is done trying. Whether he can execute something or not, I don't know. We saw it with the no-trade clause with Torrey Krug. He invoked it, and Doug didn't get to make the trade that he wanted to make. But I think it's a situation where there is stuff on the burners. There's probably other options. It's just all going to come down to, will a player with a no-trade clause approve something? So I think at some point we'll see something with the defenseman. I think that Doug has identified that player already by this trade, that it's Torrey Krug that they'd like to move. I just don't know, can they find another perfect scenario like they found with Philadelphia to make it work for them, to make it work for the other team, and to make it work for the player with the no-trade clause.
JR, what were they looking to get from Travis Sanheim that they don't already have on this roster?
Well, I think it would have been a situation where, that's like I said, it's got to be a perfect situation. And with Philly, not only did they want to move Kevin Hayes in the last 3 years of his contract, but the previous GM in Philly, Fletcher, he signed Sanheim to the 8-year deal. And that's a lot. That's a lot of term for a guy that maybe doesn't fit into Coach John Tortorella's plans there in Philly. So they were looking at it as, okay, we can get 4 more years of Torrey Krug and get out from 8 years of Sanheim. And so I think with the Blues getting Sanheim, I think it was around the same money, maybe a little less, $6 million. And yeah, they take the 8 years, but it seems like everybody in St. Louis has an 8-year deal. And I think that, and I think they get a player that they know that they can plug into that top 4, top 5, and be a reliable guy. So I think that's what they were trying to look to do.
Jeremy, I know that you talked about it yesterday with the fast lane, but more and more continues to come out about Vladimir Tarasenko and his, I guess, I would say, what he's trying to figure out with free agency. You keep seeing reports of that he might be going somewhere and things are not working out. And you just put out an article about how he's back to square one with the agent switch. What is going on there with Vladimir Tarasenko? Is it just finding the right situation, or is this just the way the market's going?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think I'm a big believer in you put yourselves in these situations. And then I think it's also a combination with the market being slow too. But you look at the Tarasenko situation, he left a great agent in Mike Liut. We're all familiar with him here in St. Louis. And part of the reason was the new guy, Paul Theophanis, was a guy who suggested where he should get his shoulder surgery done. That's kind of part of what struck up that relationship with him. He turns to him to be his agent. Theophanis works on getting him moved out of St. Louis for 2 years. That doesn't happen. Now he goes to the market and he can't find a deal. It's just the timing of him hitting the market and being a little bit of an older player, 32, who's trying to get some good money. I just don't know that it's feasible. So he's turned now to his third agent in 3 years with J.P. Barry and Pat Persone. And what are they going to be able to do? The market is what it is. I talked to J.P. Barry yesterday. He said it's going to be a tough go. But right now what they're doing is they're hitting the reset button. They're calling all the different teams, trying to find out what was there for Vladimir Tarasenko and see if they can still get something.
JR, always great material. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it, and have a great Friday Eve.
All right, yep, you guys too, and we'll have to get to a computer and check out the YouTube here pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We are at 101 ESPN STL. That's our YouTube channel.
All right, we'll look at it. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thank you, JR. Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic here on 101 ESPN, and we're just a couple of months away from the start of training camp. It's amazing how quickly that will come around, and it'll be fun to see the different look. I'm not sure it's a completely new look, but a different look Blues team, and I'm intrigued about Kapanen and Verana from the beginning of the season. I'm intrigued about seeing Kevin Hayes, and looks like they're going to give some young defensemen a chance. Tucker and Perunovic both getting one-way contracts is pretty telling to me.
I think that was needed. Tucker took a major step last season, and it made a lot of sense. He's the type of player that Craig Berube likes and likes to work with, very physical. Even if he didn't have a lot of ice time, he made his time known out there, and that's what you want to see from guys. It's going to be interesting. You talk about Kasperi Kapanen and Jakub Verana. There we go. I don't want to say Jacob, Jakub Verana.
Jake.
You want to see if they're able able to continue to carry that momentum into this season.
Yeah, and that is the mental part of it. It's hard to get yourself going for 6 months, and that's what they have to be able to do.
And I like that you bring in Kevin Hayes so that Pavel Buchnevich can get back to what he does best.
Right, being a winger.
Yes.
Definitely. That's Brooke, that's Carrie, I'm Randy, and this is the Opening Drive on 101 ESPN. By the way, Matthew is going to be part of the balloon party coming up. It's going to be Matthew, Marshy, who else you got in there? You got
Jackson, of course.
Jackson.
And then Grant Francis is our producer and our board.
Francois,
excuse me. Pretty substantial 1 hour show.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty,
Looking forward to it.
I said it should be like controlled chaos, but you said you guys are going to be pretty buttoned up.
No, we're going to be pretty buttoned up. Yeah,
There's
we got
no
the
way.
rundown. We're talking a lot.
That's
We're
what
talking
I'm
a lot of
saying,
good Cardinals stuff. You know,
No
we're
basketball?
We're banty.
No basketball.
No
We're
basketball.
banty.
You and Jackson not getting in some NBA talk?
What?
Something.
What would we talk
Summer
about
League.
right
Somebody
now?
said that you guys will talk about NBA Summer
Dame
League.
Lillard.
I'm not going to be that cavalier with Tim's ratings.
Okay.
Oh,
No, he was talking about the Blazers. He was talking about the he was talking about the Spurs. He wasn't talking about the Cavaliers at all.
There you go.
Okay.
Coming up on 101 ESPN. Thank
See
you.
what you did there.
Coming.
Hey, it's Carrie, and if you're dealing with pain, I've got some great news for you. My friend Dr. Sheen can help you. You know, the older we get, the more pain our bodies can feel. Sometimes just from sleeping, walking, running, all of these things can cause us pain. Ankles, knees, shoulders. For me, it's been my elbows. I'm assuming it's from blocking those linebackers for so many years. I thought I'd have to deal with that pain until I met Dr. Sheen, and he taught me about PBM. PBM, what is it? Photobiomodulation. Big word, easy explanation. It's light therapy that helps you heal. The light stimulates cells in the damaged area, which allows your body to heal itself faster, decreases inflammation, and helps eliminate pain. Even after the first treatment, my elbow started feeling better. I'm starting to get my knees worked on. Those are feeling better. And my inflammation has gone down tremendously. My physical therapist even mentioned it to me as well. Dr. Sheen has been a great help for me and has me feeling like I did 10, 15 years ago. And if you want to feel that way, check them out online today at thesvi.com. That's thesvi.com.
This is Rocc here with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals yesterday fall their third time straight against the Marlins, this time in some walk-off fashion for the Marlins, as the Cardinals are leading 9-8 going into the bottom of the ninth, but then Jordan Hicks skies a throw to Paul Goldschmidt at first base, and two Marlins played to walk off with a 10-9 victory. The Cardinals will look to avoid the sweep tonight. 5:40 first pitch from Miami. It'll be Jack Flaherty facing off against Yuri Perez. You want to hear any more Cardinals talking? Go to the Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers podcast and listen to Greg Amsinger, MLB Network host, who joined Randy, Carey, and Brooke earlier today. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Randy, at this point, I think it's awesome that you are finding humor in the Cardinals season. I think we all need to find a little humor in the Cardinals season. We make the playoffs a lot. We don't win, always, but we make the playoffs a lot. So let's just laugh this year off and pray that the office does something to make next year a playoff year.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together.
Thanks, John. Appreciate your mic drop. You can always leave us a mic drop here at 101 ESPN. It's the opening drive. Brooke, Carey, and Randy. And if you don't laugh, you cry. So I'm going to laugh. It's I've reached the point in this season. I'm not apathetic. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. But I'm also realistic enough to know that they aren't going to make the playoffs. And whether they win or lose is not going to affect my mood. But I'm interested in stuff like last night. Can we get the last call again? I'm just interested in it. I always enjoy baseball. I always enjoy competition. But I always enjoy seeing things that I rarely see like this.
Now his 1-2 pitch. Runners take off. Little tapper in front of the mound. The runners will advance. Double clutch, and he throw it away. Down the line. One run scores. Gurriel around third. He's going to score, and the Marlins walk off. Unbelievable.
Chip Carey had the call on Bally Sports, and I actually laughed because I said, okay, what the hell else can happen here? You know, that was my mindset as that play unfolded. I wasn't upset that they lost. I was just interested in the way that they did, that they found another way to lose.
Yeah, that was an intriguing way to lose one. I mean, it was
not great.
Mo, it's not great. It's not been great. They're finding ways to lose games. You know, Randy, I sent the meme yesterday from one of my favorite sports movies in Major League, and you just laughed because it's hilarious. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny because, as you said, if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. And we have been watching this all season long, and this was a new low for the Cardinals in a season where we thought we had already found the newest low.
And I have already told y'all that I'm looking ahead to 2024. That's a little niche field thing, isn't it? Told y'all.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to just come out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay.
But yesterday, the Cardinals call up Ivan Herrera. I've said, I'm putting him behind the plate. I want to see what Ivan Herrera is. I'm getting ready for 2024. You bring up Zach Thompson. I want to see what Zach Thompson is. Now, can he be any worse than he was in the minors? Probably not. He had like a 9.96 earned run average. Right? Maybe, okay, if Matthew Liberatore has that. Okay.
He's been getting a sneak peek of what the future is on the mound. Are you ecstatic?
Well, I hope that at least whoever is going to evaluate these pitchers and prepare these pitchers for 2024, number one, I hope they're not on the Major League staff right now.
No.
And I want people to be able to see at the Major League level what the stuff is, what the piece of clay is that whoever is developing them has to work with.
The answer right now for starting pitching, I feel like, is outside the organization. There's a lot of guys that you don't know if they're ready. You're even looking at Graceffo and McGreevy. Do you think that they're going to be ready?
Number five guys.
Okay.
So, I actually had this text exchange last night with a friend who is still pretty intense about this. Okay, so here's my thought. Very preliminary research. Sign 3 free agents from among Montgomery, Lance Lynn, Kyle Hendricks, Tyler Mahle, Sean Manaea, who's been terrible, and Lucas Giolito. I get that Manaea's been terrible. And then trade for Dylan Cease or Tyler Glasnow or sign Aaron Nola. So there's 3 potential number ones that would be available. Nola, Glasnow, Cease. And by the way, Glasnow's been hurt for most of the last year. So you need 3 starting pitchers from outside the organization. So I'm going to get... and then you're going to have Michaelis and a rookie. So I can handle, actually, getting 2 from among Montgomery, Lynn, Hendricks, Smalley, Manaea, Giolito. But I need to get that number 1 quality guy, and then I'm going to have whatever it is, McGreevy, Graceffo, Zach Thompson, probably not Liberatore, but I'm going to have a kid as my number 5 starter. Kind of like on a lesser scale, when they rebuilt the 2000 staff, Rick Ankiel was the number 5 guy. They go out and trade for Kyle, get your number 1. You get a couple of number 2, 3 guys in Andy Bennis and Pat Henkin. You bring back Garrett Stevenson, who was a fine number 4, and then Ankiel's your number 5 to start the season, and you had a great rotation. I do think the Cardinals would be well served to go out and get themselves 4 starting pitchers during this offseason.
What do you have to give up for Dylan Cease?
A lot.
So it's going to hurt, but it's going to be, he's got a chance to be great for a long time.
When Greg was talking about a painful trade, that's going to be a painful trade. And you have some guys, because we have seen the log jams at certain positions, you have some guys available. And it's going to be people that are well-liked and well-respected amongst the fans. But you have to part at this point because this is not working. You have to get something better, and you don't have the cushion of seasons past where you knew that you had a certain amount of starting pitchers or even pitchers returning. That's not the safety net going into next season. You have to go out and spend some money and probably give up some good prospects and also some major league talent to be able to build the starting rotation into what it needs to be successful, so that this offense can succeed and do what we know it's capable of doing. We were talking about with last night. We've seen that capability from the offense this season, but there's only so much you can do. And even Ollie said this in the postgame last night. When you give up 4 runs that early in a game and it keeps happening again and again and again, your offense can't always be there to pick up the pieces.
So here's one thing. The White Sox are going to lose Tim Anderson as a free agent, but their number 1 prospect, an A-plus rated prospect, is a shortstop by the name of Colson Montgomery. So they'll probably plug him in next year. So what are they going to be looking for in Chicago? They're going to be looking for a young major league pitcher ready to replace Dylan Cease. Maybe that is Gordon Graceffo. And they're probably going to be looking for a bat like Nolan Gorman. I would think that would be a starting point for a guy like Cease. And this is a team that traded Chris Sale in the past and got a decent haul. They got Moncada back. They got Michael Kopech back in that trade. So they have a pretty good idea organizationally of what they can get for a number 1 quality starter in Chicago with the White Sox.
Yeah, Dylan Cease has been very intriguing to me, and I feel like would fit and would actually help this organization moving forward because you need an ace, and the Cardinals haven't been able to find that this season.
So bottom line, I'm ready for 2024 right now. I hope the Cardinal front office, I hope they aren't saying, well, we're going to be patient, we're going to come back, and we're going to win this thing. You know what? It's over for this year. It is over. So my friends in the Cardinal front office, let's deal with some reality here and put names together and put together a game plan for the offseason so that you can start fresh in 2024.
18 blown saves. Just talking about the pitching staff in general and what we've seen, 18 blown saves this season.
Got to get a veteran reliever. BT talked about that all offseason, too, getting a veteran reliever down there, and they need to do that, at least one.
Yeah, they need help.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Well, they got time now.
They got time. You're right.
You got July.
They have
you got
all
August.
this time to think about it.
Yeah. Coming up next on 101 ESPN, we're going to head down the stretch as Matthew Rocchio has rock and roll here on 101 ESPN. It might be a little bit too late for me to become a great golfer, but it's not too late for you, especially if you have a Celebrity Green in your backyard. It's an amazing product that's delivered by Celebrity Greens through Clubhouse Turf here in St. Louis. You can learn about them at clubhouseturf.com or give them a call at 314-834-2343. What does it do, Randy, you ask? Well, what they'll do is put a synthetic green in your backyard that rolls true like a regular green, and you can copy any green in America. If you want to get, for example, number 2 at Augusta or number 12 at Augusta, or if you want to get something from TPC in Scottsdale, you can get any green you want and have it copied. And then you can practice your putting and chipping and pitches and bunker shots and improve your short game so that when you get out there with your buddies, you can score and win. That's what it's all about. Each Clubhouse Turf signature green is unique, but the big thing is it rolls like real grass. John Rahm has one, Max Homa has one, and you can have one. Go to clubhouseturf.com to learn more. Give them a call at 314-834-2343. Improve your golf game with a Celebrity Green from clubhouseturf.com. Before we get to rock and roll, the birthday girl has something to say. Brooke?
I do. So this is going to be a little serious for a moment, but this is more of a call to action because we've talked about it over and over again. We see that anytime that there's a charitable event here in St. Louis or a chance for the community to rally around something, the St. Louisans always rise to the occasion. And so this past weekend, there was something devastating that happened in St. Anne. There was a family where only a 9-year-old girl survived. Her family was a part of a murder-suicide that claimed the life of her mother and 2 siblings. The young girl, Akuri, I believe that's how you pronounce it, she's the only one that survived. And there's a GoFundMe set up, and I just tweeted out the link. If anybody can take the time to go and donate, her grandmother and her family are asking, for any help possible as she looks to rebuild her life and as the family tries to rebuild as well. But now this girl is going to be without her siblings and her mother moving forward. So I've donated. I would love if anybody else will donate as well.
I will, and devastating for that St. Anne family. It's just terrible for the community, and obviously that family has been devastated too.
Yes. And so this is just a great chance. I know that so many people in the community rally around and also donate and give back. And this young girl, there's nobody ever deserves any of this, of course, but she survived, and I want to make sure that there's so much that we could do to make sure she has a bright future moving forward.
So just search for Brooke Grimsley with an E-B-R-O-O-K-E, Brooke Grimsley on the Twitter machine. All right, Matthew, what do you got?
Well, last year, the NBA made a little change to its playoff system, and I honestly thought it was pretty great. We got the Miami Heat playing in a playoff as a play-in team in the NBA Finals. Well, they decided to shake it up again. This time, they're doing the mid-season tournament that everyone's been talking about. Apparently, all the details have been expressed in the brand new collective bargaining agreement, which went into action on Saturday. They're going to do a big show coming up this weekend where they tell us all of the little details. Here's what we do know so far, though. It's going to be an NBA in-season tournament. Obviously, the final games will be December 7th and 9th, and essentially all teams will be in the group stage. There'll be 6 groups. They're going to randomly choose which teams are in those groups based off your previous season winning percentage. Then it will be a champion from each group plus 2 wild cards. The best 2 other records in the 6 groups will be your 8-team knockout round, Final 4, and then a championship game. Interesting to me, though, the stats from these games will all count towards the regular season except for the championship game. Your thoughts on the NBA trying to get some more eyes mid-season in a regular season that continually gets less and less important?
Does this impact the playoffs at all?
No. I'm pretty sure you just win cash money.
Does this add games to the regular season?
Yeah, because you're playing this in-season tournament.
How's that going to work?
I would hate to lose a game by
They don't
point.
play now.
Yeah, LeBron's not playing in this tournament.
Like, what the hell is this? This isn't AAU. This is. I like Silver. I think he's a great commissioner. I think he does a fantastic job. He's upfront. He's honest. Does some great things for his league. I don't like this at all. I think it's a dumbass idea.
One thing that you can tell where they're going with this is the announcement show that they're doing this weekend is going to have as special guests Victor Wembanyama, Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, and Trae Young. There's not a player I just named who's older than 26.
And Chet Holmgren in there.
If you name those names to anybody that doesn't follow basketball, they say, who? Maybe they know Victor Wembanyama because they've heard his name 100,000 times. He hasn't even played a game yet. Those names do not pique anyone's interest.
You're saying former first overall picks Cade Cunningham and Paolo Banchero don't?
Who? Yeah, nobody's watching the damn Orlando Magic or the damn Detroit basketball. Nobody's watching that. Nobody knows who those people are.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Well, this is how you get people's eyes on it. In a mid-season tournament, Carrie.
Gives a damn.
You're not excited about this at all?
I'll be watching football. Sign me up.
I'm guessing what we're going to see is a big fat cash prize to incentivize certain players to play. And I'm guessing.
So is the season going to be halted?
This will affect something connected to the play-in games in the playoffs. I'm sure seeding, some kind of preference will be taken. They're going to give some kind of reason other than just cash for these guys to play. But like LeBron, KD, why would these guys play an extra? So you play 4 games inside of your group, and then potentially a 5th knockout, a 6th Final 4, and then a 7th championship game. You're going to play 7 games outside of your schedule?
They already don't play 82. They're already maxing out. They already are forcing them to play 60. Was it 65 to get recognition for honors and awards?
Yeah.
And no one's going to play in these 7 games. This is going to be summer league basketball. This is what you want to watch. You want to watch just turn on ESPN tonight or last night or whenever the hell the next summer league game is, and you can gladly watch these players that are going to be playing in December. Who's going to watch this? You're telling me Kawhi Leonard is going to suit up for this?
There's no chance that Kawhi Leonard plays these games.
All this is doing is giving superstars 7 more days off or 10 more days off during the season.
And there, I think, might be one of the little things that no one's thinking about. This gives the superstars days off without everyone complaining because it's not regular season games. Your record isn't going to matter. And yet it gives young players a time to maybe get on ESPN primetime when they usually don't.
But why are you putting the points and the stats adding towards the regular season totals? That's also a dumbass idea.
That's the one thing I'm like, you can't do that. If you're going to make it completely separate from the regular season.
You got me fired up with this.
Make it separate from the regular season. Well, Carrie, I'm going to really.
By the way, let me point out NBA Summer League last night. Yuri Collins for Carrie's Golden State Warriors. So almost 18 minutes, 4 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Was a plus 12 on the night. And Yuri getting a little run there with the Warriors Summer League team.
Keegan Murray went for 41 last night. And I don't know why he's playing in the Summer League. He actually played a lot last year for the Sacramento Kings. And did really well. Clearly, he's probably his last game in the Summer League. 41. I think the record is 44. For a Summer League game.
Yeah, he doesn't need to play anymore.
Well, I'm going to calm Carrie down because we're going to go across the pond because a story has come out from World Soccer. Gabriel Jesus, I believe is how you're supposed to pronounce it.
I think it's Jesus.
I really wish it was. He went on a podcast and said that when he left Manchester City to go to Arsenal last year, the main reason he did it was because Pep Guardiola made him cry when he left him out of a Champions League matchup against PSG. Your thoughts on a professional player making hundreds of millions of dollars, admitting he cried when his coach benched him?
I don't care how much money you make. There's no crying. If you don't like it, bro, play better, do better, be better. The hell you crying for? Man, it's part of sports. If you are not good enough, you don't get to play. If you don't do your job, you don't get to play. That is the most beautiful thing about sports in my opinion. It's right now. You have to do your job, and you're either rewarded or you're not. Life should be more like sports.
I didn't see Matthew Liberatore crying last night. When we
didn't see it, but he might have went in there.
We didn't see inside later.
There's nothing wrong with crying in sports. There's a problem with crying because a coach benched you and you don't like that Alexander Zinchenko, who's not as good as you, got the playing time and you didn't.
Well, why did he get the playing time and he didn't?
Apparently
the coach felt he was better?
Apparently, he didn't get a great explanation. In fact, he's mad because he was in training before the game in the spot that he expected to get subbed into, and then out of nowhere, despite not practicing with the guy in the spot, they put a different person in his spot during the game, hence him being angry at Pep.
Wow.
You don't like it, play better, brother.
So, Matthew, you're going to be on the show in the next hour.
Yes, I am.
A little balloon party action.
Little producer's balloon party, I guess is what we're going to call it.
Looking forward to that. Great job today.
Pleasure.
That's our producer, audio engineer, Matthew Rocchio. Happy birthday, Brooke.
Happy birthday, Brooke.
Thank you. I'm excited. My parents are driving into town right meow, so I will see them.
All right. Hi, parents. Want to give them a shout out? Stephen Irma.
Stephen Irma.
Irma?
Yeah.
Drive safe.
Irma, yeah.
Such an adorable Southern name.
Welcome to St. Louis.
This.
CD, great job. And we appreciate you tuning in, viewing in on the YouTube channel, and being a part of our show today. For all of us until tomorrow, it'll be Friday. Tomorrow morning at 7. By the way, you need to tune in at the beginning of the show when we play Friday. You got to see that. Until tomorrow morning at 7, have a great day, St. Louis.
That's right.